there. You've got perhaps here. You see, this thing could get. Here's the scary thing. So there's Trump at 269.
I know where you're going.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's her at 268, and she is currently probably going to win the one district in Omaha there. The point is, it doesn't take much for us to end up at 269, 269.
We're back!
Somehow he wins Wisconsin, she wins Michigan, and
you guys think so? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I'm gonna
have recounts maybe in the main second district.
I think I'm gonna do some work while I'm waiting for developments to come in every once in a while. I might just go online as well.
Nobody gets 270, and then it goes to the House. The House would get one vote per state.
If we had had this conversation 2 hours ago, I'd have said knock it off.
I know. This is not out of the realm of possibility
Jesus
here. And again,
Christ, this is getting fucking crazy for real.
That one does belong
this shit
there.
is getting crazy.
We're not that far away from the great virus and flaw that is in our Constitution because we have an even number of electoral votes.
Tom, is it getting out their pocket Constitution to learn what happens there?
Tom, is this a one-off?
So right now, oh my God! Oh fucking God! So right now, Trump is at 216, and Clinton is at 197 right now, and this is. The fuck? This is including California now. Wow. It's still a little blurry. It's not 100%. What is this? This is, we're halfway through basically at this point. Holy shit. This is pretty fucking scary, guys. I'm not even kidding how many people. Wow, Trump turned up this shit like hard. When I left, it was much lower, but I took a shower, tried to clear my mind. Oh my God, this is scary. Can anybody else confirm this? He won Florida, that's what happened. Okay. Yeah, Florida will give you that. Jesus Christ. This is scary. God damn. Oh, is it 202 now? I don't have, yes, hold on. I'm going to check out Political real quick. Thanks, because I'm on C-SPAN. C-SPAN is fucking shit right now for their map is terrible. Hold on, I'm looking. No, it's the same. No. Political is reporting 197 and Trump 216. Oh, I do like this map a little bit more though. It's much cleaner right now. I don't know what the partial results. Yeah, this is Political is much better, guys. I recommend using that because it shows the links a little bit more. Yeah. They count California? Yeah, they count California. Yeah. Already. Jesus Christ. This is really scary, guys. This I did not think we would be talking like
What I do know is that the country is more.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into counties so much right now because I don't. Aksan don't have time for that shit. But,
Wisconsin may also play a major role
here. Hi, Anila. How are you?
Characterizing Wisconsin.
Good to see you again.
And right now, Chuck Todd is going to get close to drill down a little bit.
Let's just take a look. And see
you guys don't even understand how many people have asked.
One place
if they can be my roommate, like they about to move to Japan and shit. And
Trump's winning it by almost 20 points. We'll do a quick comparison.
The yen
and you can see
is going to be real. Well, the yen isn't exactly strong. It's just that the dollar is so shit right now. So it's actually kind of good for me if I want to pull out money
Green Bay
from my YouTube money or something like that.
in a big.
I would actually
way.
get a
That's
lot
just
of
one
yen
reason
for
why
that right
Wisconsin
now because the
is on a
dollar.
nice
I think.
And this is a state right now that
Maybe.
the folks in the Clinton
Actually,
camp say
no, I
is
don't.
integral
I don't
to
know
their
exactly
path
how
to
that
victory
works.
And the 270. We
Maybe.
are going to take a short break. We continue our coverage of this very dramatic.
You don't know
several races.
how many
too close
people
to call. We may not know the answer to this drama for a very, very long time. We'll be back from New York.
Oh God, I don't want to hear that. You don't want to know how many people. How many people have asked me if they can room up with me and be my roommate? Because yeah, guys, wow, I really didn't think it was. It was funny for a little while. It was funny for the last year or so, but man, it's up there. It's pretty bad right now. Ooh, here's a K-pop video I might want to do one day. It's called the top 10 boobs K-pop stars. Wow, what an interesting topic. I might just go back and do that.
As well as West Coast states.
Hold on.
California,
I think I'm just gonna knock out some reactions because I seriously don't want to waste my entire day just sitting here looking at these results. So let me see about some of you guys have been pretty good to me for the last couple of days, last couple of weeks here, with all the other non-reaction stuff. So let me go ahead and knock out a few reactions here. Dante's not coming over today because there's no Flash. So
Many of them
I
have
figured I'd do
undocumented
something
people
else.
in their families, citizens who voted, or even family members
Just
who
downloading
were
a bunch of
deported. And as these
Overwatch.
results start
We
to
got
come
that.
in, these families are grappling with what could be the outcome. The fact that Donald Trump could in fact be elected president. They are assimilating these results. Young people like Valerie here. Valerie, you are here all alone in the U.S. You've been here for 10 months.
What the fuck are they talking about?
To Colombia. What do you feel now as these results?
Right now I'm really nervous because I see that Trump is winning, and knowing that Trump is winning, it's like a possibility that my parents can come back again. So right now Hillary is my hope for me and my family to be together again.
What would you tell Donald Trump supporters and even Donald Trump himself about people like you and your family?
Well, I'm 16 years old, and I think I still need my parents' support with me because I'm alone, and as well as other kids and other families. We need to be together. She
speaks really well, though.
Thank you so much, Valerie. You are very brave. And Chanel, Nora is joining me here. She's a legal guardian to Valerie and many kids in situation. And as these results start to come in, we have seen the mood really tense in here.
Somebody asked me about K-pop Fridays. I probably won't do K-pop Fridays, but I will probably bring back K-pop
praying for the best for our 2007 children.
I'm just thinking about when the best time to drop them.
Under your care, 1,000 children.
Yes, and because they are orphan, father or mother or both has been deported, and I got so many people on my channel now, like Trump, and whoever is the next president, we will continue our fight to protect our children and the immigrant families.
Thank you so much, Nora, for your testimony. Many Latino families across the country, with the more than 11 million undocumented people here in the United States.
I don't like sympathy pools like those.
Going through these same.
And you can always tell with those pundits. Yeah, your subs are rising fast the last couple of weeks. Thank you so much. I owe it all to you guys. You guys make it possible. You guys give me shower. Most scariest thing that's happened in your life. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I'm like semi-shocked. Yeah, guys, I don't have room for everybody. I don't have room for everybody in my home. Oh, that's right. I was going to do the Grand Theft Auto reaction also. something called Deadline. Okay. What's this is all about? Oh! And of course, let me do Ruby as well while we're here. Ruby. Huh? Okay, I get it. So, Ruby dropped on Rooster Teeth, on YouTube, Sunday. But then, episode 3 premiered last Friday? Yeah, I'm confused already. Because I thought it was already Sunday. Like, Dante said he saw episode 2 already a while back on their channel. Is this official with Florida now?
Current vote count, 96% of the vote in Florida. We also want to tell you that Utah, now we're getting a call on Utah, the state of Utah. The projected winner is Donald Trump in Utah. And let's look at the how the votes break down in Utah. Okay, we're going to walk you through some of the other calls we made. You were away in your local coverage. California projected for Hillary Clinton. Hawaii for Hillary Clinton. Idaho is won by Donald Trump, the projected winner in Idaho. Oregon will go to Hillary Clinton. Clinton also the projected winner in Washington. And as we noted earlier, Trump the projected winner in North Carolina. So let's take you down on the ice and show you where the race 270 stands right now. First, I'm sorry, we got a new one. This is a new projection in the state of Iowa. Donald Trump wins in Iowa.
This shit. Thank you for the bars, Joe Brown.
There's the breakdown in Iowa right now.
This shit ain't funny
Trump, 44% for.
Hey, Anila, by the way.
Now I think we can take you down and show you where things stand in the race to 270. Big change there with that last round.
I was gonna guess you, Anila, but
Trump, 209
today is not the day. I'm not even feeling it. I can't even be my normal, ludicrous self. But I kind of knew that was going to happen with the election.
By the way,
everybody's going to be.
This is the view at Clinton headquarters. Somebody said people aren't going to be having babies for 9 months if Trump gets elected. At this viewing party here, this is Clinton headquarters.
Soon, Anila. Soon.
Not far from
look at all these people crying and shit.
Trump folks are gathered right now. Let's go to Andrea Mitchell. She is there. Andrea?
Wow.
Well, you're showing the faces, the stunning information as it's been progressing here of Donald Trump winning Iowa, which was pretty much anticipated, and Florida. But this is such a narrow path. And for all this time, we've been talking about multiple paths that she had, and the narrow path that he had, and clearly that was a misjudgment by all of the conventional wisdom. So pollsters missed it, correspondents missed it.
Yeah, for us, I thought
the focus on the early vote, which was clearly misplaced because we were attributing too much weight to the early vote and not counting.
I seriously didn't think
Andrea Mitchell at
it was going to be this
headquarters where there has been a sharp reaction to that news that Florida has gone to Donald Trump. It is the opposite reaction, I can assure you, at the Trump headquarters. That's where Katie Tur is now. Katie?
It is absolutely the opposite reaction. They're chanting USA, USA, USA here. The mood only grows happier
we are
by
losing
the minute.
Our
I can tell you earlier, only a couple hours ago, this room was relatively empty as the electoral
was
daunting for Donald Trump. And as one state by state has fallen into his camp, this room is only growing growing more excited. They really feel
Can
like
you
Donald
guys
Trump
believe
has a
this?
very good chance.
What's up, everybody
of winning,
watching? By the way, if you're new to this, my name is Akasan. I'm a YouTuber on YouTube. I do Twitter,
people across this country
Twitch,
not only say
all that
Donald
other
Trump
stuff. I'm just watching the election right now with the results with
but they wanted
the
somebody
red
that would
dreaded
go
nation in the
shake
house.
up
Make some
Washington, really
noise.
give it to Washington,
I
if you will.
appreciate it. So
Somebody who
feel
would
free to
cut
fan
through
me
the
on
red
YouNow
tape, cut
if you
through
like.
the drama
And
between the
normally
two sides
I do other
and just
stuff,
get things done. They
Q&A,
believe that he
talk
is
about
somebody who will
Japan,
be able to do
gaming
things
videos,
with
and
the sweep of his
reactions,
hand,
which I
somebody who
think
will be able
I
to
probably
build
will
a
do
wall,
a reaction
somebody who will
right
be
now
able
in
alone
between
to stop
some of this
radical
election
Islamic
race
terror.
stuff, but
He's
I think
come
we're
out
getting
and he's
close to
spoken very strongly
the
against
tail
a lot
end
of things
type of stuff.
and broken a ton of
just,
traditional norms in
what's
this
going
country,
on?
said things that no other candidate
If
could
you
have
guys want to
possibly
see
said
what I'm
and
watching,
survived. And
check
yet he
out
has. And looking
NBC
back on
News.
this, I would say that the moment that
NBC
he
News
called
is
John
doing the
McCain
live
a war
election
hero,
coverage
and
right
his
now.
poll numbers surged after that. That should have been an
If you like what you
eye-opening
see, hit
moment
that like,
for
hit
everybody
the
in this
bar
country
button
that nothing
as well,
was going to
if you
apply to
can.
Donald Trump like it applied to everybody else. We saw this in the primaries.
Give me all your money because the U.S. dollar will not be worth anything in a second.
Poll numbers have stayed
Might as well
tight
send
with
it to
Donald,
me.
with
I'll
Hillary
convert it
Clinton,
into
despite
Japanese,
the various outrageous
into yen, and
statements
send
that
it
he has
back.
made, despite
I
the
promise.
various controversies, despite saying that a Mexican judge was biased because of his heritage, despite attacking a Gold Star family, despite
This shit is
saying that he
crazy.
could grope women because he was a celebrity, despite multiple women coming out against him and saying that
Wow.
he touched them inappropriately or acted inappropriately.
Just
to them. He has
say like it
denied
is,
all of
lady.
that.
Grab
And
him
now
by the
his
pussy.
campaign
That's what he said.
feels like they really have a very good shot at winning this race.
All right, Katie Turra, thanks very much. We want to go now to former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Oh,
who has
no,
become
this
a powerful
fucker.
surrogate, certainly, for
Remember when
Donald
everybody
Trump.
used to like him?
Mayor, react to what you're seeing so far. Florida has
Well,
gone
I'm enormously excited for the country. I believe Donald Trump will be a truly great president. This is probably one of the greatest victory for the people of America since Andrew Jackson. I mean, this is against the entire establishment, Democrat, Republican, corporate, Wall Street, the media.
He has a point there.
I mean, 90% of the media lined up against him. 4 or 5 stories a day in the New York Times. Today, 4 of them negative about him. And the people of America...
I'll remind you, he's at 228 electoral votes, so not quite victory yet.
We're not there yet, but
It's like
we're getting there.
fucking
And it sure
senile
shows
ass.
the power of the people.
How much do you think that the Comey story played into
This
what
dude-
we're seeing right now?
Yeah, I'm watching here.
don't know
I'll
that it
link you
played very
guys so you
much
guys
into
can
it.
watch it with
I
me.
think
If you
everyone
want.
had already made up their
It's like the funniest shit.
Mrs. Clinton and the long
Just some of the
period of
rhetoric they
time in
use
which
and
the
shit
Clintons
is
had
really
committed
funny.
a number of serious crimes.
But I think for
that
the
were
most
ignored
part,
by the
they
Washington
stay on the right.
establishment.
Like
Perjury,
years ago, I watched Keith
the Mark Rich pardon, which to me was
I liked Keith
enormously
Oberman. Like I always liked
I
his
prosecuted
particular
Mark Rich,
style, but
and he was the
yeah, it
number
was
one
fairly
fugitive in the
obvious
country.
how
They got
biased
$30
he
million
was.
for that, selling uranium to Russia.
But I really liked the
I
way
think
he
those are the
projected
things
himself.
that really brought her down more than
I miss him.
What Comey did. Comey's report played a big role in it. But Donald Trump's outreach to the people is the main thing here. You have to have been at his rallies and seen the way people reacted to him. I told him at the first rally that I was at that he was going to win this election because he reached the people.
Mr. Giuliani, if Donald Trump is triumphant tonight, your name has been mentioned as a possible cabinet member. What position would you want?
I miss Jon Stewart too.
Right now, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm enormously happy at my law firm, my security firm. I do cybersecurity, which is unbelievably challenging.
Yeah,
And
I can
I'm just
imagine.
happy
You don't
to
even
see
know
that
what you're
my
talking
country
about.
is in good hands, and not in the hands it might have been in if we made a mistake. And let's hope we get there. You're right. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah,
so
we're not quite there.
I'm
There's
still-
a lot of drama left in this night.
I'm still praying.
Mayor Giuliani and your wife, thank you so much for
It's
taking
so
the time.
weird.
And,
Politics
we'll see how
is
the
a
evening
very...
progresses. I want to go over to Chuck Todd right now, who's gathered with some of the analysts. Working
What?
through some of
Trump
what
is
we've
now
seen
at
so far.
255? 54?
President Trump may be something that everybody needs to get used to. including the Republican Party. And I have to say here's three people, smart minds in the Republican Party, and I think we all thought it couldn't happen, that he couldn't do this on the power of white voters alone, that he couldn't do
Giuliani.
And guess what?
You know what?
Just do it.
He just might do. Giuliani does make a good point, though, about Trump. It's kind of upsetting the establishment. You know, the whole thing with Hillary is like, it's more of the same, backhanded deals and all that other shit. No matter what Trump said, you couldn't stop his movement. That's what's crazy about it. It's a fucked up, racist, chauvinistic type movement, but it's still taking that side that, you know, when Barack was voted into presidency, it didn't suddenly erase rural white America. They still were there. They just it just became a little bit of a for the first time in their life, they felt they were the minority. It felt. So it's interesting to see how this is coming back.
Talking to Nicole downstairs. There are millions of us. I didn't know there were that many people concerned with the Supreme Court. Obamacare, Arizona, your last-ditch effort. The premium on the silver plan in Obama went up 159%. And so there is a vast number. Ron Johnson winning in Wisconsin is an Obamacare vote. I think that all this is going to come down to Donald Trump will down with Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan.
I hope they don't try to
they will do deals and they will get
repeal that shit. Like, I guarantee you, once people actually start getting used to the Affordable Health Care Act and it starts helping them, then they're going to be mad if people try to take it away. It's always like that. People just don't like change, but then when it happens, when they get used to it, they're like, oh shit, this isn't so bad. They're like, oh, don't you dare take away my health.
I was just going to say, well, the table's going to get crowded.
Here's one thing that I'll just speak for myself.
All right, let me knock out at least one reaction while we wait for the next update. Let's do Grand Theft Auto, shall we?
Embracing racially.
Because I would kind of want to play it tonight also. Or maybe
misogynistic language, talking about grabbing a woman in the genitals, is disqualifying for any other person in any other year. I did not vote for him, and
just grab him by the pussy.
I voted for someone who said the things that he said, who banned an entire religion. I mean, the Republican Party is going to have to grapple with who and what it is if he wins or loses. But voters had an incredibly high threshold for pain and for intolerance and for these sort of racial and misogynistic undertones because they thought that he might be political chemo, this thing that could wipe out the cancer that is in Washington. And so they're willing to tolerate all that bad to get some dramatic...
Actually, you said chemo. Somebody said to me, it's like, no, he's this... Cancer. Yeah, there's only a 10% chance the pill would work, but I want to try it.
Right. So when voters are really mad, they have a low tolerance for the baseball bat. They don't pick the prettiest one in town. They want a weapon, and he was that weapon, so they held him accountable to almost nothing. On the other hand, they don't. She's politics.
That's it. I just want to say, you said rejection election on my show. You're
Didn't I just say that?
Rejection of Hillary Clinton and a tentative willingness to roll the dice, which is why I think those curbs in the form of McConnell and Ryan will mean a great deal. It is a rejection election.
It mean everything.
By the way, I do want to do the Andrew Jackson point here because I've thought about this too. That he was trying to do Andrew Jackson, and I didn't think you could do Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, Walter Russell Mead wrote that, and he was so pressured.
But absolutely, because that is how Andrew Jackson, the first populist to become president, and who was arguably destructive to the American economy at the time. Yeah. But the public didn't care.
John Meacham's book captured that, and he ruled as he ran. He ruled as a disruptor.
And by the way, to this day, historians, some think they love Jackson, and some think he was the worst president.
Yeah. Trump wins, and I believe on this
shit is crazy.
It's not. Now will come the pain, the other half. Voting to blow things up is easy. Mm-hmm. Living with that in the economy and everywhere else, look at the future, is another story.
Nicole, let me give you more PTSD about Florida. I want to put up
all right, Florida. Let's do Grand Theft Auto.
A bunch of
if you guys have the trailer ready, we'll watch it together. Jill Stein. Florida. I wonder, though, the difference of... I'm not going to say it, I'm looking at the numbers right now for Florida. Gary Johnson has like 200,000 votes. I would say, though, I'd say those would be split right in the half, basically. Thank you for following me on Twitter. I appreciate that. I would say right in the half, right down the half would be the way the voting would have gone. If Gary Johnson wasn't around, I think half of those votes would have gone to Trump, half of them Clinton, if people want, or they just wouldn't have voted at all. I can't really imagine anybody that voted for Gary Johnson really wanting to vote. I think in retrospect, some people would be like, oh shit, if I knew it was going to go like this, I would have voted for Hillary like that. But it's too late now. The deed is almost done. Fucking California doesn't even count. I mean, it counts a good amount, but it's like already a lock. That's so crazy. All right. Here we go. Grand Theft Auto. Online deadline. I just need something, anything to clear my mind of what's been going on. All right. Hold on. I got to make sure I clear out my VLC just in case no porn plays. All right. Ooh, I like the way the camera's showing up right now. It's been a long time since I've done a reaction, hasn't it been? Bam! Red Dreaded Entertainment, what's up everybody? My name is Akasan, and we're about to get into a GTA Online deadline. I have not played GTA in some time. I've been a bit busy, filming a music video here for alternative rock, fashion, design, Vogue. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into GTA Online deadline. Here we go. It's so crazy that they're still updating this game. I love it. Holy shit. Enemy light tracers. Okay. Power up. Change the game. Dude, this is gonna be dope then. It's kind of like Mario Kart. Or, what was that one fucking game? I own it, actually. It's called Burn, I think. I think it's called Burn. I'm there. Play now! I think we need to go online. So there you go. That's what it was. It was an online... Oh, shit. Some other stuff's going on in the election. Things are going a little crazy right now. I need to get back on this election tip right now, but I will be online in a little while to play Grand Theft Auto Online. I gotta do the thing. Oh my god, people are crying like crazy. Sorry! Election night, it's crazy. I'm trying to get my mind off of it, but it's all good. Are you guys gonna play this game? Are you gonna actually update, do the on thing? I can't wait to do it myself. I will probably indeed do it a little later tonight to get my mind off the death of America. I'm out, guys. Peace. Alright. Are we back? What's up? What's going on? I saw a bunch of people like fuck out.
The train with Truman, saw the intensity of the support that Truman had, but James Reston later apologized and said, I didn't take that into account. I was listening
That's
to
another
the
thing.
view.
Exactly, Christian.
So if
Trump had no fucking plans
I think
at
people
all.
talked to each other too much and
That's
didn't listen to what
the
people
very
outside were
scary
feeling.
point here.
On the other hand,
No
whoever
plans.
wins tonight, what this shows is that there's going to be a divided country,
said,
and we are going to need leadership.
He asked that
And the
motherfucker,
scary
what's
thing
your
is-
plan for ISIS? He said it's a secret, and then they just kept on going about their business. He's like, it's a secret. I got a plan. I got a secret plan for ISIS. It's just crazy how shit the elections Ah! Just grab him by the pussy. Oh my god. All hell is about to break loose, man. If that motherfucker wins, I'm gonna move out of Japan. Wait, America. Fuck George Bush, I'll kick him in the nuts. My Medicaid. Oh! You know what, though? I am totally going to have to watch that. Dave Chappelle is going to be on Saturday Night Live right now. On Saturday. He's going to be hosting. You know, we all need to see that shit. Oh, it's going to be so fucking lit, man. Like, for reals. It's going to be awesome. I'm trying to find the actual link of myself on you. Oh well. Cringe fest for the next 4 years. Alright, next one. Let's get Overwatch. Get that out the way. Okay. Red Dreaded Entertainment, what's up everybody? My name's Akasun here, and let's get into some more games because it is election night, right? And we need some distracting stuff because things are pretty bad in America right now. This one's called Overwatch Animated Short Infiltration. Let's take a look here. I said... let's take a look. Okay, here we go.
I thought this was supposed to be the most advanced security system on the planet.
Ooh.
We don't have all day. Hurry up.
Where's she from? We got Bear Claw.
Of course.
Please make us a TV show. Netflix, anything.
Are you certain the target is on site? Oh, she's here, all right. Okay, you're in.
I enjoyed playing that guy, bro. He was dope.
I cannot wait until the inspection is over. The door. Sombra.
Turrets are down.
Yo, I want to know more about that.
Sombra, time to target. Incoming, right now.
Chairman Boyska, the new guidance systems. They will be the difference in destroying the hated Omnics.
Tell me we're still on schedule. The Omnium will not wait for us to be ready before they attack again. Our first new mix in a decade. This will ensure the future of Russia. Just a little bit further.
Moscow, let's go! Showmaker, hold the perimeter. We'll take over.
Wow! Oh shit! Wow!
Sombra, I'm cut off. It's on you now.
I'm all over it.
That's you.
Getting away.
Oh, that's kind of good.
on catwalk, level 3! Sombra, status.
That's pretty damn cool. Nice. I didn't get what that thing was she threw out though. What did it do?
You have no idea what it took for me to make this meeting happen. Relájate, I'm not going to kill you. I mean, I'm the one that set off the alarm.
Sombra, do you have the target?
Okay, listen. I'm here to make a friend and show you something I found. Tell me, what would happen if the people of Russia learned that their defender against the Omnics was actually getting her tech from the enemy? What would that do to the future of Russia? What do you want? The most powerful woman in Russia? I've always wanted a friend like that. So I'm thinking, I don't let these images appear on every hall of it in the world. And you help out your new friend every now and then. What do you say? Clock's ticking, amiga. As if I had the choice. Now what, friend? I'll be in touch.
Ah, well,
Mission
that's what
failed.
that was for.
Target escaped.
Get back to the ship.
I kind of like that part. Sounds cute. Please make this show. Yo, if we can get Young Justice season 3,
Do you know why you are here?
we can get this.
I believe I do.
It kind of sucks. As far as I know, there isn't a story out there at all right now. So you're just randomly playing, and I played it. It was fun. It was actually really fun. It would have been much better if I had a PC. Wait, what was that anime? What the hell was that anime? Okay. Boop. All right. Well, yeah, so I'm planning, I hope. I heard that for like 1,700. No, is that right? Maybe 700. I've gotten different quotes, but I heard for like for 2,300, 2,500, I could have a beast computer, like crazy computer that would do everything. That would be the top of the line stuff. $3,000 would really be like, I wouldn't have to worry about another computer for like 6 to 7 years. But I heard 1,700 could get me the kind of computer that I need to start rendering. Like, I'm planning on creating another YouTube channel fairly soon to help out with some of the stuff that a lot of you guys have been asking for. So in terms of rendering and things like that, like I heard 1,700 would be the better bet, so I don't put all my money, like if I have 1,300 or $3,000, better to put 1,700 into a new computer and 1,000 into a better camera, like not the camcorder stuff anymore. Because if you listen really closely, that sound you're hearing, that's the actual grinding of the camera. And I tried using another camera that is a Zoom product, but it looks like crap, basically. Looks horribly. Like, the sound is great, but the visual was terrible. So I only use it when I'm outside or when there's a lot of lighting. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think about it. So we're here in Japan. There's someone in Akihabara that can I heard that can build something for 1700. So hopefully in the next 2 months or so, maybe, I don't know, before the end of the year, I hope I can upgrade and start playing Overwatch with the rest of you, because it was fun on PlayStation 4, but just that whole trigger, like trying to line up and shoot and what did they call aiming was just took so long on the sensor. I didn't like that. So much easier with a mouse. All right, guys, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm out. Peace. All right, let's see. Where are we now?
That's a big one. We now throw it back to Lester Holt in our New York studios for continuing coverage of Decision Night in America.
All right, guys, I'm back. Where are we at? What's going on with
the drama, the anxiety, the sense of this night can certainly be seen in the faces at two different locations, not far away from each other, here in mid-Manhattan. At the Trump headquarters, happy faces, hands in the air, as they watch their candidate defy the polls and powering to a significant lead here tonight in this race for president. We're at the Trump headquarters, or at the Clinton headquarters, long faces and tears. Here's the national vote right now, the popular vote. Trump with 48% to 47%. But as we knew going in, this is a story about battleground races. In the race to 270, Trump right now has climbed out ahead to 244 to Clinton's 209. There are some remaining states here. They are all in the too close to call category, starting with Michigan, too close to call. Wisconsin, New Hampshire. And you can see some of these, the difference is 6,000, the difference in New Hampshire. Maine is too close to call. Minnesota is too close to call. Pennsylvania, part of Hillary Clinton's firewall, still too close to call. A 7,000 vote difference there. I don't know if you caught that. Nevada is too close to call, and Arizona too close to call. These states will keep us up for a long time here, waiting to see who can pass that 270 mark. There's the map. It started all gray at the beginning of the evening at 7 o'clock Eastern time. You can see a sea of red now that encompasses the south and the middle of the country, but smatterings of blue in some states that count. But it's those gray areas right now are the ones I just ticked you down through, the too close to call states. And right now, the Trump people feeling better and better about their chances of seeing Donald Trump become the next president of the United States. I'm back here with my panel. Chuck, you gave a scenario a moment ago where we could see a 269-269 tie. But let's talk quickly about some of these states we've looked at. It was a 7,000 vote difference now in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania.
Look, what's out in Pennsylvania, it slightly leans her. There's a lot out in Allegheny. It's a county she should carry. But let's talk about the bigger story.
Down to 4,000, by the way. It's really good now.
Let's go to the Big Blue. Remember the Big Blue?
This is like when Lex Luthor took over. This shit is crazy. Everything is too close to call, but not in the way. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. It's Smallville. Off by 2 years. Straight out of a comic book. Yeah. Kanye becoming president is very possible. I think at this point, guys, as long, like, it really doesn't matter who had that Republican ticket. Or I guess it was just a deal of like when you just have such an unlikable candidate in Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump, like nothing cares. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares, for reals. They should have had Hillary twerking. She should have been twerking. Somebody just sent it to me on Instagram. Look. Hold on.
There's a lot at stake. This is not an ordinary time, and this is not an ordinary election.
Freak house, bounce that ass with your knees, touch your elbows. Freak house, bounce that ass.
There's a lot at stake. This is not an ordinary time, and this is not an ordinary election.
Freak house, bounce that ass with your knees, touch your elbows. Freak house, bounce that ass.
There's a lot at stake.
All right.
This is not an ordinary time, and this is not.
Fuck, man. Now I'm getting pissed off.
Can go in and
fuck this shit, nigga. Fuck this shit. I quit.
And look, she has not been a popular figure for some time. We know that they were two of the most unpopular candidates who would ever run for president.
Yes.
And Bill and Hillary Clinton have been around for a long time, and everybody wanted change, and they wanted agents of change, and they were not there.
Yes.
But what is so stunning to me is that the Clinton campaign, which has always had a great reputation for knowing exactly where the votes are, David Plouffe has been saying for a month, Pennsylvania, he's not going to get a vote there. I mean, why would he even go there? And they've been talking.
Tom, I go back to everybody underestimated the rural white vote. Everybody thought there wasn't enough white vote to lose Hispanics and African Americans by the margins that he's losing them by.
But it's a two-pronged issue. I mean, first of all, the white vote has been declining as a share of the electorate over the past several cycles. So a lot of pollsters are not factoring in suddenly a surge in white vote. And then if you see depressed turnout among the non-white vote, and you're not getting those same numbers, I mean, that's how you get to a map that we're looking at tonight.
By the way, one conversation we haven't had, we've been talking about recriminations. We started about in the Republican Party, right? And as the nights wore on, and we're like,
I know where you're going.
Let's talk about what's going on inside the Democratic Party now. There's going to be plenty of people that say, what if Joe Biden had run? What Biden would have been a real heir apparent? What if was the Democratic ticket too white? Okay, I mean that's going to be. If you look at the African American vote, there's going to be some people that say maybe she should have picked Cory Booker, and the point is there's going to be that, or maybe Bernie Sanders actually had his finger more on the pulse of what's going on in America.
I think that the ticket was too established. I mean, I think that's really what it was, is that she has been there for so long. She's talked in conventional ways about what the call of the Democratic Party is, and
nobody trusts
vice presidential running mate record in Virginia, but he wasn't all that well known, and that dynamic.
Oh my God, I miss Jon Stewart so much. There's so much to take out of that.
They were saying, "I want big change," and they were saying,
"Did anybody actually replace Jon Stewart? Like
it would come and go and come and go, and then suddenly." It's this tonight.
Savannah, who's the leader of the Democratic Party?
I don't know. You tell me.
I guess it's Elizabeth Warren.
Let's look at the way that the Clinton campaign closed this out. Yeah, there was an uplifting message yesterday, but the last several weeks have all been, the ads talking about the things he said about women and minorities.
This dude said.
People. And it clearly
this dude said,
a month ago,
was the Democratic Party too white? When they just said, didn't they just say like a second ago that this is rural white America coming back? Like everybody underestimated the rural white America. There's some dude on Twitter right now talking about how he's like, I understand, I live in a rural area. And I'm white. I understand what they're going through. I'm like, oh, so you feel like a minority now?
President Trump
wonder what that's like.
President Trump has no shackles. He won this his way. He won this by trashing the press. He won this by trashing the establishment. He won this by saying some things that we all thought.
Somebody just said he has no shackles.
Center of the Republican side was actively formed.
I have no strings.
There's going to be the normal rules. There's no small G governor on him. on anything. This is going to be a very, very different.
And if she wins, there's no mandate.
We're not there yet. There's no mandate.
Yeah, she's squeaking across the line.
But Trump is going to act like a mandate, and if you're him, why wouldn't you? When everybody said you were done, and done by a lot. Okay?
True. Hallie, you've got some exits.
Well, it's interesting to hear your conversation, guys, because you talk about the Republican Party needing to figure out what would happen if it were to be a President Trump, but if it were to be a President Clinton, or even if it's not, there's the question of what has happened with younger voters, male voters. And Chuck, I want to get your take on the third-party factor here that you were talking about a little bit over on the other side of this set.
I'm angry, so I'm pacing.
Clinton performed with voters of the age of 30. This is all across the country.
I'll be back in a moment.
Call them. She got 54%. Not surprising that she would see that. But look at this gray slice of the pie. That's the other section here for 2016. That's Gary Johnson. That's Jill Stein. That's in some cases Evan McMullen. Walk back with me to 2012. Look at that gray slice of the pie. Look how much smaller it was for President Obama back in 2012. Fewer voters under 30 ran from him. You can see his margin was higher than hers. So the third-party factor here may be cutting into Hillary Clinton's advantage nationwide when you look at these exit polls. And here's why it matters. A state like New Hampshire, right? When you look at the numbers, the vote totals here, when you combine Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, the independent candidates, it's such a close race in a place like some of these states like New Hampshire that it's more than that margin.
You mentioned President Obama, and we're watching this play out. If this goes in Trump's direction, you've got a president who has passionately fought for Hillary Clinton and his legacy.
Look, this is a big ding on his legacy, not a small one. Yes, he's got a job approval rating over 50%, but the third term is what puts you in the history books as that bigger figure. Reagan got his third term with George H.W. Bush that made him just a larger than life figure. And look, Obama, it looked like he was going to be the Democratic Party's Reagan. And by the way, he still may be, meaning he'll be the shining light that Democrats point to in this loss to say, oh, we got to find another Obama, just in the same way the Republican Party has spent 20 years looking for another Reagan.
The other thing is that, quite honestly, in the cold dawn of whatever the day brings, whether it's her or whether it's him, you've got to look at what they both stood for and what they want to do for the country. The country's sending a big, big protest tonight. So if she wins, she's got to wade through that. If he wins, they have to re-examine what he's had to say about knowing more about ISIS than the generals do, about blowing up healthcare immediately, about having a tax program that every economist, Republican and Democrat alike, said it's a $5 trillion deficit the moment that it gets passed. So it's not just what he brought in terms of stylistically, it's also what he stands for and whether or not he'll listen to anybody else in his party. He went to meet with the Senate Republican leaders and they said there are some issues, not issues. It's about the show I put on. It's about how I sell the thing.
That's why I feel like it's post policy. I mean, I think, I don't even know if the Trump voter necessarily is signing on for this policy, the wall, or getting rid of it. It is a protest vote. It is a primal shout.
Yeah.
And as long as Donald Trump was a big, pardon my French, middle finger to the establishment, to every institution, so long as he was carrying that mantle, he was a very attractive candidate for obviously a great number of people.
Let me just quickly set things for people who are coming back and forth and trying to figure out where we are. It's not over. It's not over, but Donald Trump stands right now 26 electorals from becoming the next president of the United States. The gray you've seen is going to tell the story over the next couple of hours.
Guys. We are getting very, very close.
We don't know. Those are states it's too close to call. But there's the race right now. The race to 270, those numbers, the 209 for Clinton, the 240 for Trump, that's what it's all about, and those gray states. So here we are. We're 12 minutes into Wednesday morning. And we still don't know who the next president of the United States is. We do know, looking at that map, that this is an intensely divided country on a lot of levels.
If you get
it always is.
69.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your mic is on.
Now the sausage is made. Chuck's on the phone with the boiler room.
That's the guy. He says, I got a guy. But I tell you, we're going to take a break. We'll continue. But I want to set things where we are. We continue to watch, as I said, 13 minutes after midnight here on the East Coast. Our coverage will continue after this.
Burrito. Shit is crazy. Make sure you guys hit that like button. on YouNow for this lovely election coverage with a burrito. Trying to eat all the Mexican food before Trump takes it away.
Strong for Trump. And we talked this morning to take up on something Martha said, and Cecilia was mentioning is about the being president-elect. There was talk, and I said this morning, there's two historical things we'll pick, either a glass ceiling for a first woman president, or the first president who had no political experience or no military experience. And so whatever that resume ceiling, or whatever we call it, the paper resume ceiling, he's about to bust through that no president in the history of the country has ever done. They've either had military experience or political experience, and he hasn't either. So we've had generals and elected officials become president before. Both you, Bill Kristol, and you, Matthew Dad, have worked with Republican presidents and Republican White House.
This is crazy. That's my entire reaction. Crazy. Just grab him by the pussy. What up, everybody on YouTube, by the way? We're getting down. We're getting down to the wire, though. That's for sure. Ha! Hide your pussies, America. Trump about to grab him. Moonlight. It's pretty close.
Welcome back as we continue to follow the drama of the night. Who will be our next president? There has been another call in the race for U.S. Senate. Savannah.
Yeah, this is a biggie. Catherine Cortez Masto. This is a hold, actually, for the Democrats. This was a Reed seat. She's the first Latina ever elected to the U.S. Senate, and she defeats Joe Heck, one of these Republicans who really tied himself in knots over Donald Trump, distancing himself and then seeming at the tail end there to say that he could support him and going back and forth. In the end, Catherine Cortez Masto wins in Nevada. Nevada, a state that we still are saying is too close to call on the presidential level, but this is not a pickup but a hold for the Democrats.
And by the way, you look at Missouri, Blunt's leading. You look at New Hampshire, Ayotte's leading.
Guys, can you feel it?
Toomey's leading by fingernail.
Can you feel it? We are getting very close. I want some.
Hopes of having the Senate either, and all of this.
More.
I mean, you've been talking about Chuck's theory over here about 269 to 269. If that were to happen, it goes over to the Congress to decide. The House would determine who the president was, and the Senate would determine the president.
Really? It looks like Mike Pence has got to be a little bit happier that Republicans are winning this rather than Tim Kaine.
Chuck, what I want to do right now, let's go through, if we can, all these states that remain. They're all too close to call. Give me a characterization.
The weather in Japan is a little cold right now, but it's pretty good.
Michigan, too
I'm wearing a tighter outfit.
She is underperforming Obama in Wayne County with Detroit.
PBS, you gotta fuck it up. You're not really off
that history of counting, number one. Number two, there is a lot of vote left in Flint,
PBS's
in and around
feed
Flint.
because it's kind of weak
for her. It is going to be a nail biter. She does have a path to victory here in Michigan still, but that is a pure coin flip.
All right, Wisconsin
right now, it looks Trump. The only reason
in terms of whether or not I take the election seriously, I mean, partially, I think both candidates are jokes, but I'm more concerned about the global situations. And I also, like I've said this many times before, I understand why. One of the reasons the appeal of Donald Trump is also because the entire world is trying to get a little more nationalistic, and it's like the whole conversation last week we were having with my students is the fact that what happens to all the military bases in America? That was one of the things Trump was saying. It's like, oh, time to pull it back, save money. like there's no point to have military bases out here, and that kind of sucks for me because I would lose the money. I mean, I would lose the movie privileges that I used to have. I mean, I don't really have them. They're not very strong right now. I still haven't seen Doctor Strange yet because I don't have a military contact in Yokosuka anymore. So that's disappointing. Doctor Strange will come out January 27th in Japan. So I'm still waiting to even watch that movie. Anyways, but there's going to be, as you can already see, there's an economical problem with the stock market is crashing right now. So, we'll see. If I go to Korea, I'd at least be able to watch the movies. But Korea's kind of far. Like, I don't want to spend like $400 something on Doctor Strange.
We are going to have to wait till all the counts are in. You're going to get used to seeing all the voters. We got to see it all. And we will probably never be able to say anything other than apparent winner when this happens.
But think about it. Yesterday, she's there with the President and First Lady of the United States, her husband, a former president, a rally there.
We go to Tom's point. So we could have a recount in Pennsylvania. We could have a recount in Omaha. We could have a recount in Maine, too. Michigan could be so close it could feel like a recount at this point.
Yeah.
So it is a...
I'm counting the plane.
By the way, that's why Pennsylvania is so close, because this is one where the conventional wisdom is Republicans want to chase that rainbow every 4 years, but ultimately Pennsylvania comes out and votes Democratic. I mean, the fact that it's this tight says something.
There's a bunch of union voting Obama Democrats that are voting Trump.
As we take a quick look at Nevada and then Arizona as we head to a break, but we continue to watch with bated breath along with the rest of the country here as we wait for these states. Still too close to call as we wait for some important calls. We'll be back with more coverage. Decision night in America, or on this part of the country, decision morning in America. We'll be right back.
So at this point, it's like a must-win for Clinton, like these states. Nah, I've never watched the Clone Wars on Netflix. It's one of those things I've set up, like I should probably do watch, but I still need to finish Daredevil, then Luke Cage, then I'll probably move on to Star Wars. Or Legend of Korra. Everybody wants me to watch Naruto. I'm not Naruto. Avatar before Korra, but it'll never be done. I'll never be able to get through it. Better just to watch Legend of Korra on its own. Should I watch Ruby now? Nah, maybe better to just watch Ruby when all of this is all done. Yeah. Clinton or Trump? I don't like either of them. Neither one is actually that. So, like I said, if Trump wins, I get it. I understand. It sucks. It'll be a wild time, and a lot of racists will be coming out full-fledged again.
Welcome back. We're midnight here in the East Coast. The race to 270. Trump right now.
But if Clinton wins too, it'll just be more of the same.
Electoral votes. There is the map as it stands right now.
Whatever.
But some key areas of gray, states that are too close to call. We continue to watch them, and watching all this along with us outside our studios on Democracy Plaza.
Rizzo, to be honest, it really doesn't matter. Just someone. Like, not one person is going to be able to unify a country. There's so many other
Donald Trump supporters.
Issues going
Alex,
on.
you are a voter in Texas.
And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that
I think
when
that
people
this says a lot more about Hillary than it does about Donald.
Huh.
I think it just shows that people don't trust her.
Yep.
And as much as Trump has against him, I think it says a lot more about her than it does about him.
Now, Stuart, you voted for Donald Trump in Connecticut. How are you feeling right now? He's in the lead at the moment.
I have to say that I embrace what Hillary has said to the country. and I hope that embraces some of her sentiment about inclusivity. However, I think the American public has decided that the liberal media has just really taken too much of a hand in this election and has been telling the public really who to vote for all along. And one factor for me as a doctor is that the Obamacare policies, while they're trying to be helpful to the public, all of my patients have said that it's just too expensive.
Stuart, thank you so much. Alex, thank you so much. Thank you. Live here on Democracy
That's a
Plaza.
good point.
Lester, back to you.
I mean, it's a fair point he's making. I'd love to see more of his kind of talk on a daily basis instead of just screaming nigger this, nigger that, and
another conversation. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more coverage.
Trump that bitch and all that other stuff. I'd love to see more people legitimately come out and say, you know, like be sensible approach, basically. Not this fucking internet commentary thought process that you see all the time.
I'm Chanel Jones at the NBC News Bureau in Washington. Defying most polls, Donald Trump is leading in the electoral vote 244 to Hillary Clinton's 209. Also, in the
that's the thing with Hillary. Like, see, with Obama, a lot of people liked Obama because
look at this, and at this hour,
he was so new because he had no experience, no attachment. Hillary's been in the business for a while, and people just don't trust that shit.
Michigan now a must-win for Hillary Clinton, and the
nobody cares that she's a woman or like or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can't pull that same kind of card the same way people are trying to make it seem like it was a black issue with
That's right,
Obama.
Chanel. We're actually at an election night party here in Utah for a presidential candidate. That candidate, independent candidate, Evan McMullin, who is expected to
people
take
are still racist because it's something they either grew up with, or it's just easier to hate someone than to try to understand and accept change. The same reason why people don't like change.
State voted overwhelmingly for
they don't like things being
and hasn't voted for a Democrat in more than half a century. But there was
something that they're
used
to changing
this
up.
Year might be different. Why is that? Well, there's a large Mormon population here, and many were struggling with the idea of voting for Trump because of some of the controversial things that he said that opened the door for a strong third-party candidate, Enter McMullin.
You know what the worst part is? Everybody's going to take
He's an
Obama.
ex-CIA operative
like
with
people
conservative
took
values that are
Obama
in line with
for
a number of
granted
people
so
here.
bad,
Polls in mid-October
and
showed him running neck and neck
I feel
in
so
this
bad
race. But
how
week,
much
polls
shit
showed
he's
Trump
gotten for the last
starting
8
to break away, and
years.
the results coming in tonight showed
When
Trump
every time,
overwhelmingly
you know,
in
I
front
saw
of
him
both
speak,
McMullin
he sounded like the
Hillary
realest
Clinton. He is
motherfucker
the
ever
projected winner in
to
this
be on that
state.
stage.
And of
Like,
course, with the electoral vote so
he had
close
interests
this
that he
year,
had to keep
this
in
was a
mind
must-win
and like
state for
people
Donald
that he had
Trump.
to
So we expect to hear from McMullin shortly
deal
here.
with.
He says he hopes
But he
this
always
is the
seemed to be
beginning
like
of
the
a
realest
new
dude
conservative
online.
movement in this
I
country.
mean, on this,
we'll have to wait and hear what he has to say. Chanel.
doing interviews, when doing speeches, like,
MSNBC not too long ago, and he
I was
told me
just
he
like,
wanted to
damn,
build a new
dude. Every
movement.
time I was just like, I'm
Clearly,
gonna miss
one thing
this
is for
dude.
sure, voters really throughout the country wanted change.
Yeah, that's right. Change
Where
to
maybe
really
in
on
some
the ballot
sense,
here. Now you talk with the people
Trump,
who were here. They were
I can
seeing
see
things
where
sort of
like
differently. These are a lot
rural
of
white
traditional
America
Republicans, traditional
sees the same thing. The same thing
who say
I
that
saw
they
in
just couldn't
Obama.
bring
I think
themselves
rural
to
white
vote for
America
Donald Trump. So
sometimes
they don't
sees
see
in
change
Trump
the same way
like the
Donald
realest
Trump was.
dude out
They
there.
see the conservative movement
He says a
moving
bunch
in
of
different
crazy
direction.
shit,
That's why they
but
decided
people will
align
believe
with
it
McMullin.
enough
So
to be
some
like,
different
okay,
theories here on
let's
tonight.
shake things
a
up
lot
a
of
bit.
folks we talked with at the polls today say they were very torn, conflicted about voting in this year's election. I spoke with one man who said he considered voting for McMullin, but in the end was concerned it might be a wasted vote. He, in the end, decided to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Interesting. Very good report. Thank you, Joe, in Utah tonight. Joining us now to talk more about this is Jennifer Lawless. She's a professor at American University. I should mention.
No, Obama is leaving, but see, the thing is, Obama is actually leaving America in a better state than it was.
So we're on a roll here.
And he didn't have the silicone boost like Clinton had.
First of all, let's talk about Pennsylvania for a moment. Too close to call right now. I lived in Philadelphia for almost 10 years.
A lot of people try to like make it seem like, and that annoyed me too. Was like if they elected Hillary 8 years ago, then
she had last night. I mean, so many people just knew
you were going to automatically start having money because that's what happened when Bill was in presidency. Bill was in presidency, but that was also the economic turn was because of the silicone boost and the internet, the computers, everything push the economy. And so that's why I say Silicon Valley, because that's in California. That's what helped the economy. It was just damn good timing. Any economist would tell you that the same thing. And so, but people just tend to remember during the Clinton administration, the economy was good, I had money, things like that. But anyways, besides that, it seems that things are pretty, like the country is in much better shape than it was 8 years ago. So, you know, it kind of sucks that the grade, the rating, America's rating went down to AA, but, you know, what the fuck? This peeled off this weird scab. I'd be looking like Ezekiel. Will the middle class vanish? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know. I don't know what Trump's plans are. Like, I have no idea what the hell. Like, unfortunately I haven't really been covering it enough. Like, every time I heard Trump speak, I was just like, wow, you spitting a lot of shit going on. So, yeah, that's all I know is the plan to build a wall. That's it. That is it. We're gonna. I heard somebody built a wall around this Hollywood star.
That will turn this election before we all walk out of here. We're going to go to Hallie Jackson right now. Among the many things we're watching, as this thing seems to be
I think they're about to wrap up
Donald
also.
Trump,
Actually,
the markets around the world are reacting. She has more on that.
We're seeing a drop in some overseas markets, and we saw something really interesting happening in the S&P 500. I'm here with Ali Velshi to explain this. It was halted, then it
so there's two kinds of futures. We talk about the Dow futures a lot because there's a big Dow board that we can all look at.
We saw a drop in those futures.
We've seen those futures drop. They're down, indicating at this point a 4% drop. So if the Dow were to open right now, it would open about 760 points lower than when it closed. But really, for most people out there, your investments are in a broader set of investments that are more like the S&P 500. Now, this doesn't happen very much, but the S&P 500, they don't generally allow it in trading, the futures, to go below 5%. It hit the 5% floor, and there was some confusion out there about why it was not going below that. There was some word out that they were halted for the rest of the night. We've now got clarification. They're not halted, but they are not going to be allowed to go below 5%. Now,
they've dropped as much as
they've dropped as much as they're going to be permitted to drop. Now, why this is a problem is that on any given morning, Allie, I can tell you at any point in the morning how the market is going to open based on futures trading.
Like shit.
Tomorrow morning I won't be able to, because we know that the Nikkei in Japan is down more than 6%. We know that Asian markets will be down. We see European markets, but we won't be able to trade these S&P futures. So now it becomes a guessing game as to how.
Let's see what's going on Twitter.
In the morning.
And so all of it, Ali, driven by the uncertainty that we're seeing right now.
Yes, that's correct. It's uncertainty, and I will remind people, when you're thinking about percentage drops...
I've got to interrupt you because I've got to toss it back to Lester here.
All right, we're going to make a projection right now, Hallie, as we go outside up the building. NBC News projects that Hillary Clinton will win the state of Nevada. 6 electoral votes. That's an important one for her. They're all important, as Chuck Todd points out this time, as her path to victory is very narrow.
Close that is, though. That's what's scary,
and that's where it leaves us right now in the race to 270. Clinton now at 215. Donald Trump with 244 in the race to 270. Chuck?
I have to tell you, the most realistic path she has to 270 is a bizarre one. It is winning Pennsylvania, which right now I believe she's down about 2,000 votes. If we go to Pennsylvania, she has to also win Michigan, which of course she's down, and she's got to win both of those cities in Maine and Nebraska.
What
That's the
fuck
only
is
way
going
at this
on,
point,
man?
unless a surprise shows up
crazy.
at this point in Wisconsin, in Arizona. There's really no other point. But I want to go here. We have Pennsylvania just to show you how close it is. Look, Trump has taken nearly a 3,000 vote lead. There are a few areas where there's no vote at all that has come in. There's extraneous vote. I told you we are not going to call this until all the vote is in, and even then we'll probably end up with a apparent winner. But boy, does Clinton need to turn this around. She needs to find there's a handful of precincts left in Philadelphia. She better hope there's a bunch of vote there. So let me look at this county, what we got here. It's Lebanon County. I'll just show you what it was in 2012, just so you have an idea. A red county that went big for Romney. So it's likely, she might do a little bit better here. This is a county right next to a state capital county, which she has been doing slightly better in. But I
really wonder if Bernie would have done better.
Maybe that leans Trump. But Pennsylvania, total coin flip. But obviously,
I'm starting to have a feeling that Bernie Sanders would have done better.
Yep.
All right. We want to get over to the Clinton headquarters right now where Kristen Welker is standing by. We've seen a lot of long faces, even tears there. They just got likely a shot in the arm with that news that Nevada goes to Hillary Clinton. Kristen?
They did, Lester. There was cheering here at the Javits Center when this crowd learned that Secretary Clinton won Nevada. But I have to tell you that overall, the mood is quite somber. You can sense it. It's fairly quiet here. This is anything but a victory party. As you point out, people starting to leave early. They are in tears. A lot of red faces here, Lester, as they watch these results come in. One supporter describing it as stunned disbelief. Another person telling me grief is starting to set in. Of course, this race is not over yet, but perhaps one of the more telling signs.
Wow, it's 2001 all over again.
The last time I heard from them about 45 minutes ago when officials were insisting there is still a path, and of course that path went through Michigan. It went through Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is her firewall. We've been saying this for days. That is why you've seen Secretary Clinton make so many stops to Pennsylvania. She added events in Michigan, really trying to energize the Obama coalition, African-American voters, women, minority voters, and of course she held that big rally in Philadelphia, that unit rally last night with the Obamas to try to energize that part of her base. So there's a lot of surprise here. They thought she was on the path to making history, the path to becoming the first female president. So all of that sinking in as they realize right now Donald Trump does have the lead. As you're talking about right now, she still has a narrow path, but as that path continues to get increasingly slim, this crowd here, very somber tonight.
All right, this is a remarkably
maybe a new
close
death
race,
battle
at least some of these races. You want to take a look at New Hampshire, and Chuck's doing that right now. A minute ago, I looked, it was a 50, did I say a 15 vote difference?
It went up to all of it's a landslide now at 672 votes. But it was actually at 15 about a minute ago. Look, there's still a lot to come in. This is another one. We're just going to wait till all the votes come in. Literally,
how important is it, though? It's with four electoral votes.
Dixville Notch might actually swing at the end of the day.
What
but you want to go there? Let's go to the what if map here and just
to
sort of everybody can see why all this matters here. Give it a minute here.
Dude, if Hillary doesn't win Arizona,
locked in Nevada, so that gets her. So let's move this down here. And if you assume these four going that way, and that's a big assumption, as you can see, she can't lose anything. That gets her to 268, and she needs that district. She needs the district in here, which is not counted.
Arizona.
And she needs that main district. That's her only viable path to 270. Unless
Arizona and Pennsylvania.
A bunch of votes in Wisconsin are
to really
a lot
get
more
back
of them
in the
in
game
Milwaukee
here.
than we expected. But it's that it's that big. I mean, it is that narrow for her. She's got the more narrow path. Trump could end up winning with it Pennsylvania. He could do it just with a combination of Arizona and Michigan.
I want to get the thoughts of the panel as we look at this, and that bright red in the middle of the country in the South. And is there, to what extent is there a racial component in this in terms of who is voting for Donald Trump and who's voting for Clinton?
Okay, this is a big split in this country. There's a big white to non-white split.
Because this is going to be a conversation going
forward. Do you realize
forward.
that she's losing Texas by all of just 8 points? I mean, the fact of the matter is the Latino vote showed up in a big way. You don't put Texas to single digits without the Latino vote activating. You don't take Arizona, which we're sitting here waiting on Arizona, but it wasn't enough. This is, there was this, we all bought into it because Barack Obama did win twice with this new coalition. Now, she couldn't totally recreate it, But I think there was an assumption that the Latino vote is growing so much, it just made some of these states that they were just going to all keep moving.
I don't know if they're the most.
Look at the rest of them.
Well, Peggy Noonan wrote the best piece of the cycle and a piece of the protected and the unprotected. And I think that what's going on, it's always important to have a conversation about where we are in race. But the truth is we elected the country's first African-American president not once, but twice. This, to me, was more about class warfare.
Anybody know where the fuck, where is Mitt Romney anyways? I haven't seen him in a long ass time.
People don't like being described as living in flyover nation. It's derogatory. And these sort of lines, and if there were walls in this country, they were really between the elites and Main Street.
It's a culture war.
It's a culture war, and not over the old things. The old culture war used to be fought over guns and abortion and social issues. It's a culture war that sort of subtly gets played out on the kind of media you watch, on the kind of newspapers you read, on where you get your information. I met some of the stars of Duck Dynasty at the Republican convention in Cleveland, and some of the brightest businessmen you'll ever meet. But they speak about sort of the prejudice that they feel when they walk around the streets in New York City, and they're big media figures. But this culture war, this cultural elitism was the dynamic at Brexit, and there are a million ways this is different. But the one similarity is that people felt so disconnected from their leaders that they were willing to burn down. Steve said this downstairs, and it's true. Not one.
They are the new minority coming back.
I mean, Donald Trump is not a Republican.
He's
not a classic Republican, and the only people despairing more tonight than Hillary Clinton supporters are sort of the never-Trump Republicans who've been, men and women without a country for many months.
Your former boss didn't vote for him.
Right.
The next Republican president of the United States potentially didn't have a single living president, and only
John McCain.
One former living nominee, Bob Dole, who publicly supported him.
I have the advantage of spending a lot of time in the Midwest and also in the Mountain West. I've got a lot of pals.
I really need to talk to some of these rural white people because I'm very curious about this.
They weren't crazy about Donald Trump, but they really did not want Hillary Clinton to come back into the office. Not only they did not want her, they wanted him back in the White House again, and they talked about it quite openly to me.
Yeah.
So I really thought this whole election. I
think that's more
to
what
get
it
back
is.
to your original point, Lester, about whether it's racial or not. It's been tribal warfare. I mean, we have been trying to compartmentalize this country. I'm going to take the white working class vote. I'm going to hug them. I'm going to get the Hispanic vote. I'm going to get the African American
vote. Wait, what happened?
And it's been
compartmentalized
in a way. And both of them played that. Let's fracture the country and hope that I end up with more parts than the other guy does. And that's not, in fact, anything that's going to help us get through what we're going to get through. So whoever wins tonight, we've got a long, tough road ahead of us.
Savannah, you brought some show and tell.
Oh, I was just saying I carry around my word clouds, and I remember the first time I saw this. Okay, so this is the word cloud for how people said they thought about Donald Trump: afraid, terrified, racist, bigot. Okay, so that looks pretty bad.
Exactly, Andrew. Did you hear that?
Like Clinton's page.
Rednecks from Duck Dynasty feeling prejudice.
No, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Look at. People had a singular notion about her that she was a liar and that she was not trustworthy.
But that's
talk
true.
About the racial element. Let's not miss the gender element here. I mean, it's the first female presidential candidate on a major party ticket.
I don't give a shit. She could be the first monkey.
Coming out in droves, and it seems when this history book is written on this, that's going to be a factor that really, really matters. And then you have also a lot of women who didn't support her either. So I think you're going to have a lot of reckoning in terms of what it means for race relations, but also for gender relations in this country.
Women. I mean, I remember sitting down at the Today Show.
I don't give two fucks
early summer,
if she's a woman, a transgender, a fucking dildo, or whatever.
No attraction to her.
Her entire platform, just her entire presence, the way she carries herself, that's not somebody I want. That's not somebody I fucks with. Like, I'm gonna tell you, if you guys want to know my big thing with Hillary, one of the reasons I really couldn't get on top, I mean, she already annoyed me during 2008 when she went up against Barack. It sounded like a robot in all of her speeches, just reading off shit, whatever, right? Then, on top of that, there's a video where she was interviewed by, I think it was Hot 97. Breakfast with Hot 97, right? So, they she got interviewed out there. That might be one of the reasons she lost New York. I was actually really surprised she lost. Like, how you gonna lose your home state? Isn't that her home state, right? Or she was a senator there, right? How you gonna lose that shit? But anyways, the Breakfast Club. So she was getting interviewed by the Breakfast Club, and they were asking her a bunch of questions. And they asked her, one of the things they asked her was, what is the one thing you have in your purse at all times? This bitch, she straight up said, hot sauce. And people are like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, she's just trying to say hot sauce. And then one of the DJs called her out on it. Like, well, you know, they're like, really? Really? And then I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think she actually pulled hot sauce out of her purse. And somebody was like, okay, well, you know, people are going to say that you're only saying that just to pander to the black vote. And she was like, ha, ha, ha. Well, and then she was like, is it working? Like that. And it was like, it was like, what the fuck? Like, so just watching that interview really did make me remember what Barack was saying about, like, she'll do anything, she'll say anything just to get the vote, like that. But, you know, I think she's just been in the game for so long, and people are just waking up to that kind of nonsense. And she's so far in the system, she's become the system, and like the pundits were saying. Wait, is something going on? Hold on. No. Like the pundits were saying, that, you know, people are kind of sick of the system, basically. Tyreek? Okay, yeah. All right, but they had an interview with her last week, right when the, when it was down to the wire, and I think people started feeling the fact that Trump might pull this shit off. I'm looking at Trump's Undertaker entrance.
I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails. And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged, I have to be honest.
Can I mess your hair up?
He hasn't released his tax returns, which means he's either not that rich, not that charitable, or he's never paid taxes in his life.
We've obtained this audio of Donald Trump at Access Hollywood's Billy Bush talking about sexual advances towards women.
Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign. All of these liars will be sued after the election is over.
This dude is like a walking comedy act, though.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win. And now it's up to the American people to deliver justice at the ballot box on November 8th.
So the states are going to be making this a very long night as we approach the 1 o'clock hour here very shortly on the East Coast. Right now, Donald Trump holds a lead. He's 26 electoral votes from being voted in as the next president of the United States. Welcome back to NBC Election Headquarters. Joined now again by James Carville. Good to have you here. You've been watching.
I wish I could say it's good to be here.
Yeah, not turning out the way I know you want. Walk us through what has happened from the Democratic view.
Well, I mean, everything that you would think you needed to do.
Oh my God! All I can do is laugh at this shit, guys.
GOTV effort.
This shit is.
Trump came through and had a nationalistic dangerous message. And
Brandon Black, you make a very good comment here. The last few years, our presidents have been watered down and afraid to do things and owned by those with money. Will Hillary change that, or will Trump? You're very right. I think it has a lot to do. Like, Obama came in
what she believed in is that
But
preparation
for all
hard work and
intents and purposes, he really tried to play fair with everyone
sort of direct message
and got nowhere most of the time from the fucking party of no. But it is kind of interesting this, like, Donald Trump seriously pimped out the entire Republican Party. He's like, ha ha ha, good job, I'll take your following.
I'll be honest with you. It was something I
work with it.
Campaign about. I said, "What's the
shit
answer?
Is crazy.
What is
shit
it?"
Is fucking
and I remember
weird.
asking her what her big idea was, and she goes, "That we're stronger together."
Right.
It wasn't an idea. It was a sentiment. Right. I get it. Why did she? Do
you remember that time Donald Trump said, "I love the blacks"?
I think that her nature is that she believes that the country has multiple problems to attack, and it's just not one simple thing that you do. When Trump came in, he had a simple thing. He had a very simple thing that he was going to do, and the power of a message, overcame the power of a turnout operation. And I think, by the way, other people on the Democratic side voiced the same concern that you did, but and what they had is a masterful technical campaign, but it didn't have that sort of strong emotional message, and he had the change message. It's hard to be more change.
Let me get down to Florida and bring in Jose Diaz-Balart, anchor at Telemundo and Weekend Edition of these Nightly News. Jose, the story of this election, win or lose for Hillary Clinton, will be the Latino vote. We saw it come out certainly in a strong way in Nevada. Yeah. What's the read on Florida, which of course went to Donald Trump tonight?
Well, Lester, good evening. I think that what James was talking about the fact that the people who came out to vote for Hillary
Clinton, I agree with you, Gabe.
Out to vote en masse.
Trump,
in other words, the Hispanic
as a person,
for example,
he may not be. I've not, like as a person or as an entertainer, I never had much of a problem with him.
With the Cuban-American
but
vote,
his fan base and his core base, the people that
in that group, even those that have supported President Obama's
work with him and are not work with the people that those people that support him go around hanging black effigies everywhere, screaming out racial.
There was nothing in return from the Cuban government.
Racial comments.
Give the United States
backed by Trump right after that.
Relations
like,
further.
That's the
I
scary
think in
part.
the Cuban-American vote, that's what's
because he never shied away from that either.
Trump.
He was just like
throughout the country,
he never really addressed it or anything.
Numbers of Latinos voting. State of Florida, Lester. 38% of the Latinos that voted in early voting.
It is kind of scary. Like if the race war comes
clearly
around,
wasn't enough in Florida, and it may not be enough in other states.
Jose Diaz,
I feel bad.
Good to see you, Jose.
You guys are out
much.
there.
We will take a break. We continue to watch and wait for the dramatic conclusion.
Exactly,
of decision 2016 on this United America.
But if he becomes president, maybe he can be better about it and try to curb those racist people. I don't know. Man. I would agree with you on that too, Christian. Puppet presidents. Well, if he becomes president, it's going to be very similar to the Filipino president who just says some of the craziest shit sometimes. And maybe a lot of you guys aren't familiar, but this dude like straight up deputized the entire country of the Philippines, and he's like, yo, if you see a drug dealer selling drugs, you are legally within your right to just shoot him dead on the spot. It's like, people are like, what the fuck? And but he just he caused like the Punisher basically. He just like straight up left a war zone, but people really support him. It's crazy. And he said, and he also flies off the handle all the time. Like he was supposed to have a meeting with Obama, and that fool said, don't come here and tell me how to do my job, you son of a bitch. Like, you motherfucking son of a bitch. And, like, Obama canceled the meeting. That dude had to get up the next day and apologize and shit. He's like, no, what did he say? He's like, I will cuss at you, you son of a bitch. Oh my God. Did he call the Pope a son of a bitch too? Oh my God. So if you guys want a preview of what President Trump is going to be like, I feel really bad for what's going to happen between Mexico and California. I feel really bad about what's going to happen with relationships like that. The wall. What's up, Reaper? Yeah. And I wonder what's going to happen with China on top of that. China.
I'm Chanel Jones in the NBC News Washington Bureau. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, and the race for president is still undecided. NBC News is projecting Hillary Clinton win of Nevada, picking up 6 electoral votes. Okay. But in the race to 270, she trails Donald Trump by 29 electoral votes. The state of Pennsylvania at this hour, still too close to call. Wisconsin, another state still in play, and that's where we find Kelly O'Donnell in Janesville, the hometown of Speaker Paul Ryan, who won again tonight. Kelly, what can you tell us?
Well, Chanel, the speaker, it appears, has just gone home to bed because we watched the security detail headed out the door after a night of surprises. He, of course, won his own seat, and Ron Johnson, the incumbent Republican senator, was really a dark horse to win a second term in the United States Senate, and he did. And now many Republican supporters who are still stragglers here are very excited about the prospects for a Republican victory in Wisconsin.
John Wesley Shipp, he plays, what's his name? Dad? Barry's dad on The Flash. He's not doing. Somebody said, "Oh my God, Verizon! This is the worst time for advertisement. Like this is the worst night for an advertisement like this." He said, "It's enjoy tons of data without the restriction." You know, they did that shit on purpose. They totally did that shit on purpose. Hillary Clinton. There's pictures of Captain America crying. What else we got? Feel free. I think I'm gonna get on Twitch in a little bit. Plays Grand Theft Auto. I think we're gonna be deadlocked for a little while, and I need to get my Twitch donations up a little bit, so Akasan has some food for the rest of the week. With the economy tanking, I better start buying some rice storage. Hold on.
People have talked about a miracle. I'm hearing about a night. It's hard to be a parent tonight for a lot of us. You tell your kids, don't be a bully. You tell your kids, don't be a bigot.
Good point.
Do your homework.
Wow.
And be prepared. And then you have this outcome, and you have people putting children to bed tonight, and they're afraid of breakfast. They're afraid of, how do I explain this to my children? I have Muslim friends who are texting me tonight saying, should I leave the country? I have families of immigrants that are terrified tonight. This was many things. This was a rebellion against the elites. True. It was a complete reinvention of politics and polls. It's true. But it was also something else. We've talked about race. I mean, we've talked about everything but race tonight. We've talked about income. We've talked about class. We've talked about region. We haven't talked about race. This was a white lash. This was a white lash.
White lash.
Changing country. A white lash against a black president in part.
True.
And
I agree.
that's the part where the pain comes. And Donald Trump has a responsibility tonight to come out and reassure people that he is going to be the president of all the people who he insulted and offended and brushed aside. Yeah, when you say you want to take your country back, you got a lot of people who feel that we're not represented well either. But we don't want to feel that someone has been elected by throwing away some of us to appeal more deeply to others. So this is a deeply painful moment tonight. I know it's not just about race. There's more going on than that. But race is here too. We got to talk about it.
That's a good point. Fuck. That's a very good point. God damn. Sorry, I tried to turn it up, but that shit, dude, that shit's crazy. That's a very good point. Like you guys were already saying, his fan base is, yeah, very scary. Very scary. There's a Young Justice Season 3 trailer. Really? I'm back. Yeah, it's these fucking people, dude. Look at this.
What's up, buddy? Oh, now I'm a buddy. Hey, Trump, all the way. Trump. Hey, check this out. Hey, check it out. Hey, no, I got you. Because black lives don't matter. There ain't no proof. Just because you say something don't mean nothing. Wow. Prove it. I appreciate it. Hey, check it out. If black lives matter, hey, I'm talking for you. We don't appreciate it. I appreciate it, sir. Yeah, glad. So black lives don't matter because you got a problem in traffic. No, black lives don't matter. No, the problem in traffic was you were right behind me, sped up and drove around me, jumped in front of me, and made me slam on my brakes at a light. That makes you a nigger. Oh, that proves, check it out, that proves that black lives don't matter. Hey, no. If you have a side, if you have a subject, you tell me why black lives matter. Because people say so? You tell me why. How? You know what matter means? Is something makes a difference. What's up, buddy? Oh, now I'm a buddy. Hey, Trump, all the way. Trump. Check this.
Yep. Yep.
I was wrong, and this is a nuclear bomb of a political story. It's going to be interesting. It seems to me likely, Chuck is the numbers expert, of course. It seems to me likely that Hillary Clinton's going to win the popular vote because there's a whole lot of votes to come out of California yet. I think she may well end up with by winning the popular vote, but losing the electoral vote, perhaps more substantially if she does lose Wisconsin, if she does lose Pennsylvania, and
really
Michigan is still in the balance.
But think of it right where we are right now. I mean, he is on the cusp of winning the election based on a system that up until yesterday he was saying is rigged.
Yeah, right. Think about that.
I
don't think it's rigged anymore.
Democracy. I mean, right? I mean, I think that's a good thing. If democracy's working, votes are getting counted, and the one who gets the most votes wins.
There's going to be a lot of Democrats who are going to complain about the WikiLeaks, and they're going to complain about Comey. And
sure,
they had some impacts, there's no doubt, but on the other hand, Trump's basic message never changed.
You got to realize the Democratic Party has the least amount of power that you can imagine in this democracy. The Republicans have like 30 state legislators, governors. We're going to lose the federal courts, the Senate, the House, the presidency. I mean, it is a utter disaster if you're a Democrat in terms of having any political power in the country right now.
Sure, but also the big question comes out of this: what does it mean to be in the Republican Party?
Well, but the Republican Party is now led by someone who's not even a Republican.
Well, that's my point. That's my point. Right. It's like, so okay, Democrats are out of power, Republicans are in, but what define Republican?
Yet the Republican Party, even though it's led by someone who's not a Republican, is absolutely right, has all this power, and if Trump does win, indeed, it's going to have to govern, right?
So I live in the South. I'm white, and a guy did the same thing. He tried to get me to back him up. Then I punched him in the face as hard as I could. Trump, man. Hey, buddy, Trump, man. Yeah. Oh my God. It's pretty bad, yo. It's pretty bad. Man, but you know that it's scary. Like what that one guy said. Like we live in a world that we tell our kids to be nice to other people, not to bully other people, don't insult, you know. Like, what is the example we're showing with Trump being elected? That's a very good point. Muslims scared shitless now. People thinking they're about to get deported. Like, Canada's immigration website has crashed? Wow. I need to make a video on YouTube saying how I have no more room in my home for refugees from America. I should actually do that. Try to get a bunch of foreigners to come over my place tonight and film a video. Like, hi guys, Akasan here. I just want to let everybody know we have no more room for American refugees. Let's see where we're at.
He was, as advertised, George W. Bush. George W. Bush, considered something of a hothead, you know, cowboy type.
I'll be back real quick. We're going to give it a few more moments to see if there's going to be any big change.
This is the rub of making
Okay, now if you go with this theory, it has always pointed to Trump. Because if you looked up or tried to create in a lab someone completely the polar opposite of Barack Obama in every way, you would come up with a picture of Donald Trump.
Pretty much.
By the way, who are the people? I'm curious, and I can't wait for our exit poll guys to figure this out. The people that approve of the job Barack Obama's doing and voted Trump.
It had to be because the job approval was 55%.
It has been the whole time. They're clearly, look, I've been saying it in the state of Iowa for sure. And we also, there are a whole bunch of Obama Trump voters. Obama 12, and they went Trump. Now, part of it was Obama turned Mitt Romney into the boss that wanted to fire you and send your job overseas. So Romney was sort of an old Republican argument, the businessman argument, and Barack Obama exploited that.
Yeah. But add to the things that Tom said, and add to the fact that he didn't know and didn't care to know and kind of relished the fact that he didn't know anything about anything. Yeah. That he knew more about ISIS and the generals, that he got his information from the TV shows on foreign policy. I mean, all of the things that he said.
Let's bring Mark Halper into the conversation. He's over there with Hallie Jackson. Hallie?
Hey there, Lester. Yeah, we're actually over in the area where we're getting all of our video and images in from all around the country in battleground states, including at campaign headquarters. My colleague Peter Alexander is reporting a sense of real euphoria inside Trump Tower right now. Mark, you just came over here from, I think, Peninsula, right? You were spending some time with Clinton folks.
Yeah, I mean, Manhattan is big giant country, and Manhattan is the center of the universe tonight for a change. Hillary Clinton's to spend her pre-election event time at the Peninsula Hotel. It's 4 blocks up the road from here, about 3 blocks from Trump Tower. So she and Donald Trump are basically now 3 blocks apart. I'm told she's in the hotel with President Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, John Podesta, Robbie Mook, Jennifer Palmieri, Huma Abedin.
These are her closest advisors, her closest aides. They've been with her from the beginning.
And you can only imagine, you think about 8 years ago when they lost the Iowa caucuses, there was a similar meeting. A time in a hotel in Des Moines where they were grappling with how to deal with loss. So this is a much more complicated, bigger situation. The Javits Center, where I was earlier, where her event is supposed to be, earlier in the evening, the mood couldn't have been more jubilant. It's the biggest election night event I've ever seen. It's like a theme park over there. And as the results started to come in, you saw the mood deflate. People have laughed, some in tears. There's a game of chicken now of what's going to happen. Is anyone going to speak tonight? We've seen in some of these past 2000 being the most prime example. What do you do if it's the end of the night? It's well after midnight, and no one has spoken. I can play with the Electoral College map and get her to a majority still. It's over 270. This is not done, even if no state that's been projected flips. But the mood over at the Peninsula, I didn't talk to any of them, I should be clear, but it's grim over there. I saw more junior aides coming and going. It's a tough situation for the Clintons. They've got to figure out what to do. I don't think Trump wants to speak first, but I think he might, based on what I've been picking up.
You and I were on the air together this morning at around 8:30 talking with Michigan Governor, former Jennifer Granholm, who was euphoric, frankly, almost giddy. Do you think that Clinton and her team and her confidants got too overconfident?
I saw Governor Granholm over at the Javits Center, and I reminded her of how giddy she was this morning, and she did another little jig. I think that tape from Morning Joe is going to be iconic if Hillary Clinton loses this race, because she was the epitome of, I won't say overconfidence, but extreme confidence that they were going to win. This is unlike any race we've ever had. Hillary Clinton, if she has to give a concession speech, it's impossible for me to imagine how you write that speech, because her view of Donald Trump as president was apocalyptic. It wasn't just he's bad on policy.
Lester, we'll toss it back to you. Thanks, Mark.
All right, Hallie, thanks very much. We will take a break a little after 1 a.m. Eastern Time. We continue to watch those states too close to call. Both candidates still short of the 270 needed to become the next president of the United States. We continue Decision Night in America on NBC.
Really interesting response. The young man who talked about the New York Times Index.
I alone can fix it. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero. 5.5 years. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. I would bring back
guy, dude,
and I'd bring back a hell of a lot worse than waterboarding.
I'm the only one that beat Donald in 6 contests, and I beat him. But I beat him in 13 contests.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
He'll be the next vice president of the United States, Governor Mike Pence.
Even his highlight reel is fucking scary.
Accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails. And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged. I have to be honest.
Can I mess your hair up?
He hasn't released his tax returns, which means he's either not that rich, not that charitable, or he's never paid taxes in his life.
We've obtained this audio of Donald Trump at Access Hollywood's Billy Bush talking about sexual advances towards women.
Every woman lied when they came forward to hurt my campaign. All of these liars will be sued after the election is over.
Do you want to go back to them or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Night in America, Rockefeller Center, towering above Democracy Plaza, where we continue to watch the race to 270. I want to bring in Doris Kearns-Goodwin, a presidential historian, to get some flavor and perspective on the night. Doris, it was widely said that, at least on paper, Hillary Clinton was the most qualified candidate for president. Donald Trump may be the least qualified candidate. Is there a historical comparison with someone potentially coming into the White House with so little experience, no experience in government or military?
Well, we very rarely had somebody who didn't have either the political experience or the military experience. There was Wendell Willkie, who challenged FDR in 1940, who was a businessman and a very good guy, actually, but he didn't actually win the presidency. But I think what that's missing is that in the old days, the parties were the ones that would choose their candidates, so they would naturally choose somebody who was one of their own, a governor, a mayor, or a congressman. But the parties have lost their powers now to the primaries, and what we've seen in this race, I think, is the power of this very thing we're on right now of television. Established a direct link between Donald Trump and the people that a party couldn't establish. Even the Republican Party wasn't for him at a certain period of time. And the power of that celebrity is really going to have to be understood. The debates were powerful because he was on them. It didn't matter that he said things that people disagreed with. He just kept winning. I remember we'd be on Meet the Press on Sundays with Chuck, and we'd say, he's finished, it's over. And then that Tuesday he would win a primary, which shows that some things, the normal institutions that would not produce a man like Trump, that would produce one of their own, have lost their own authority in our country.
But is he not somewhat of a mystery? Now, we know what he has
Simon
stood for
says
in,
I agree
on
with
many
that
things, but he has sometimes changed
The
positions
locker
in the
room
middle
talk
of one answer.
wasn't a big thing for me.
The use of nuclear weapons.
I think that was all a spin. But you guys have seen my videos, so
and maybe that's what people were able to do with him, to project that we don't really know what he believes
all the time,
so that we can imagine that he'll be what we want him to be, even if he's changing his opinions on both sides, rather than shooting somebody who's a known quantity and who you may disagree with. So it may be right. We may not know who we're getting. We know a lot of things about the course and dialogue that was part of this race that I think makes lots of people unhappy and makes us wonder where democracy is on. But then we got to always remember Churchill. He said democracy is the worst form of government except all the others that have been tried. So we got to believe somehow if the people have chosen him, then we got to just hope that his leadership is up to that choice that they have made.
And again, looking from a historical perspective, talk about who you put around you, the strength of a team, how much that makes the mark of a president.
It's huge. I mean, it's not even only a question of putting people around you who are your rivals, as Lincoln was able to do. It's much more important to have people around you who have strengths that bolster your weaknesses, but that means having the self-reflection to know what your own weaknesses are. It means knowing that you want people around you who can argue with you, who can question your assumptions, who will challenge you, and that's what we needed to know about.
Really? Obnoxious? Where are you getting that from?
I wish we'd had more reporting on what kind of a team did he have over these years. Were there people who could challenge him? Did he have people around him?
I don't want to know, Christian.
Who were willing to really go after him when he was wrong? Was he able to acknowledge when he made mistakes? These are the things we needed to know about a leader. And unfortunately, the way our race turned out, we were spending so much time on what was said, on who was ahead, and what the debates were, and who had the zinger, that the kind of qualities that we really need to know about him, we're going to find out in reality rather than through the race itself.
All right, Doris Kearns-Goodwin, always good to have you on. Thank you so much for your perspective tonight. And I want to broaden out that notion, let you guys weigh into this idea that Donald Trump if elected president, would not have any previous political or military experience. And do we know how he would govern? Do we have any clues?
Nobody knows. Nobody has
for.
any fucking clue.
To some
This shit is
extent,
so
but if you look
crazy.
at the certain positions he's taken over the course of the campaign, there are very few he hasn't actually reversed himself on. So I think it's a real question. And I think it'll be interesting to see how the weight of the office, if he ultimately prevails, we're not there yet. It seems like we're inching closer and closer to call, whether the weight of that changes him in a way. How could it not? I mean, this is a huge responsibility to go in and say, take the oath of office and stand at the steps of the Capitol. I don't know. I mean, people... I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen
Look how
it.
he turned his back on the political establishment and the political process that got him to where he is. Yeah. He has been a man who celebrates himself 24/7 as a promoter here in New York when he had his real estate empire going, selling the tea all over the world and wherever he could. He loves being in the limelight. He loves making decisions. Everybody's been around him at any length, says the attention span is about that long.
I want to believe the best about someone who's going to now represent millions of Americans and people who have put their faith in him.
But he got there by being somebody contrary to everybody that you had there before.
I totally get it.
I must say, he got there on his terms. I mean, when he started out, no one gave him any kind of a chance. He stayed true to who he thought he should be and what the country wanted, and it appears tonight that it could very well work for him. I don't think he's going to abandon that just because he's walking through the gate at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
He's made some huge promises to people, and people believed him, and they put their votes behind him, and they're counting on him.
But this is an important thing. He comes in with no... The weirdest thing is, I
Thank
think
you for
James
the
Ray, I
likes.
think he actually doesn't win the popular vote once California rolls in, and
But
that's
a big
fine.
electoral vote.
But guess what? He is going to feel like he got a mandate. We are going to treat him like he got a mandate for one reason, because he blew all of our predictions and models and you name it out of the water. He is going to feel unshackled.
Understand, he won an election.
That's right.
That is the most validating thing that can happen. We live in a democracy.
Right.
So
exactly.
And he's going to have congressional majorities in both houses, and a lot of people are going to owe their election to him.
Right, exactly.
And so you got to understand what is going to happen here. There are real consequences.
No, I mean, I think he's going to want to be the boss, number one. And even if you take the sort of optimistic view and say part of the campaign was a performance for his audience, still, what's his North Star? I mean, and is it suspicion of immigration? Is it
Donald Trump?
But they elected him to blow up the system. I mean, that's how he got there. And as James says, he got elected under the process of a democracy. People chose him to be their leader because they're so upset with where it's going right now.
I got to be the traffic cop here and get us to a break. We will continue with our Decision Night in America coverage on NBC after this.
I didn't see any
Tonight, 1:21 a.m. The state's in gray.
info on Trump.
Projected, but you see the colors of our nation there on the map. 8 states not called, as we've been saying, as our coverage has continued on through the night. Lawrence O'Donnell is with his insider guests in his studio. Lawrence,
we're here with Maria Teresa Kumar and Michael Steele, and we've been discussing this issue of polls. And as the
The world is waiting. Doctor Strange comes out in January 27th. I'm going to try to see it earlier, but I don't have any good connection at the moment.
They essentially figured out what the landscape would look like, but there were still some elements of this race that sort of popped up, particularly in some of these states where you're looking and you're going, look at the overperformance of the white vote in certain parts.
Everybody on both sides are just so shocked, so stunned. Nobody, but it's like it's watching a car wreck. You don't want to see it, but you don't want to turn away either. It's just crazy.
It is so freighted when you say it's something that we're going to reopen an investigation. Normally the FBI doesn't announce that reopening an investigation.
It's 3:23 right now in Japan.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of this historic election. We want to take you right down to the Donald Trump headquarters here in Midtown Manhattan. Peter Alexander is with a crowd that is growing restless and with expectations of things going their way.
Donald Trump is still 244.
I just spoke to a source who is with Donald Trump inside Trump Tower right now, who describes this as euphoric, filled with hugs and high fives right now. There's also some new information that NBC News can now report. This from my colleague, NBC's Kelly O'Donnell, who spoke to a top aide to Speaker Paul Ryan. And we have now heard that the Speaker earlier tonight reached out by phone, speaking to Donald Trump in what was described as a good conversation, congratulating Donald Trump, and also speaking to his good friend, the potential Vice President, Mike Pence, as well. What's striking about this right now, as I speak to folks inside the campaign headquarters, is how strongly they felt over the course of the night that they would do well, but how this result is even striking and surprising some of them. They thought they would do well in Florida. They thought they'd have a shot in Pennsylvania, but they thought Wisconsin would be too tough. They have a chance to win all three of them.
All right, Peter Alexander, and I think that's an interesting note. If you hear what Peter said, this is a surprise even to the Trump camp. We can talk more about that in a minute. We're going to take another break and be back with more after this.
I'm Chanel Jones, live in the NBC News Washington Bureau. Voting in the historic 2016 election has now ended with polls closing in the state of Alaska. The vote there is not yet in, and the presidential race at this hour is still not decided, but Donald Trump seems to have a clear path to victory in what has been a dramatic upending of the polls that had tilted toward Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is now leading in 3 states that were assumed to be Clinton strongholds. Look at this: Wisconsin, the state of Michigan, and the state of Pennsylvania. Clinton was also hoping to flip the state of Arizona, trailing there as well. That's where we find Gotti Schwartz. Gotti, I don't need to ask you how the mood is there.
Well, Chanel, it should have been jubilant here. This was a scene of a very tremendous victory. A lot of the people in this room, a lot of the people that have been working out of this office, for 4 years to remove Maricopa County here in Arizona from office. Tonight they did that with a lot of grassroots organizing. This is Mi Familia Vota. They're here. As you can see, the mood is definitely subdued tonight. I want to take you through a little bit of what they've been doing over the last few years.
Arrow GIF, he was like, "We have failed this country." Wow, people are fucking pissed. Wow. I agree there. Blaming Gary Johnson for blowing the election is like blaming the refs for blowing a game. If Hillary was good enough, she would have won. Fair enough. Wow. Yep. Do the Dems realize if they didn't snub Bernie, this might have played out different? The media pushed her, but Clinton was unpopular from the start. Absolutely. Absolutely. People lost their faith after Bernie lost. Breaking news, Donald Trump is preparing to deliver his victory speech. Holy shit! You guys want to know something crazy? It's 9... Today isn't 9/11, but it is 11/9. Dun dun. Okay. Chris Evans, Captain America. This is an embarrassing night for America. We've let a hate monger lead our great nation. We've let a bully set our course. I'm devastated. Fuck! Fuck! People are retweeting the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Dear media, I hope all the ratings were worth it. Good point. Yeah. Somebody tell Barry Allen, go back. Time to fix it. Somebody posted an image of Bernie Sanders. He's like, don't cry for me now. It's what your head ass with. Hell Hydra. America's shitty education system has come home to roost. Is that Power Girl? Nah, just a girl with big ass titties. Alright, never mind. It's a picture of Bernie Sanders at the polling place, and they're like, you know, I was almost president. Mr. Sanders, please take your ballot and go. Common White Girl says, America, you had the chance to make this wonderful human run for president and y'all lost it. Talking about Sanders. I'm telling you, that Sanders Clinton thing, the Bernie bros just burnt out. I mean, Hillary just wasn't likable from the beginning, so it was just an unpopular candidate against a rowdy hate monger. I'm a proud of Mexican immigrant parents. I'm passionate as fuck. I'm proud of my roots and of my American upbringing. I'm in tears. Whew. It's gonna be real rough, man. It's gonna be real rough. Wow, a lot of people are retweeting Captain America shit. This isn't freedom. This is fear. We are very, New York Times is saying we are very probably looking, what? We are very probably looking at a global recession with no end in sight. Well, as grammatically shitty as that sentence was, never mind. Somebody said, this will be our president until the results are fully in. That's funny. Wow! Lord Lightskin is crying like crazy right now. I'm on Twitter right now. Run, Barry, run! Hey, anybody know what episode this was from where Barry Allen is like, being nice sucks? Okay, Barry. We know it's bad, but we're going to need you to change that timeline one more time, period. Damn, I don't even want to play games anymore. I'm going to text it out. They canceled The Flash for this? I need some music or something to play. Get my mind off this shit. Is Trump about to make a speech at 2 a.m. and shit? Oh, is that from Glee? Okay, thank you. Was not aware of that. Can you imagine every time President Trump goes on vacation or like international affairs and shit, and he meets like some of the female presidents and all the grab them by the pussy jokes we're gonna get? Just grab them by the pussy. I need some... okay, I'm gonna play some Flash music to get my spirits back up. This is sad. What's up, all the 104 people watching on YouTube right now, sticking by? I appreciate it. If you want to talk to me, jump on YouNow.
If you take this election out of the equation and Russians interfering with any American process, it's a frightening picture.
Well, if you look at the world, right? We used to live in a world with two great superpowers. And with the collapse of the Soviet Union, we're now left with the United States being the only remaining superpower. Well, that has its advantages and its disadvantages. The advantages, and also its disadvantage, that no other state can do as much harm to you as you can do to yourself, right? And it seems to me that that is what the United States is doing right now. And Russia, as the last superpower, decided that a way to regain its empire, to regain its position in the world, was to help undermine the political system. And we've been to Russia, I've spoken to hackers there, we've spoken to intelligence communities. They had no doubt that Russia was deeply involved in helping to undermine Hillary Clinton. They also expect that Russia has been stockpiling information on Trump. Clearly, Trump has done a lot of business there. He's an easier target. We know, and we've talked about all the scandals. So wouldn't it make sense that if Russia now would want to unleash all of the material that has been...
We don't know that to be the case.
That's speculative, but not based on my speculation. Yeah. That's based on speculation of people who've been examining this, including cyber experts who have been investigating Russia's role. That they have material on Trump, that it would behoove them to unleash it in order to hobble him. In order to hobble us, in order to hobble the only remaining
all
superpower.
Russia cares about is us staying out of their way.
Imagine us.
This is what they want.
We're a nuclear ship. Yeah. We stop. Steam comes out of the middle. Russia, China, they do what they want. Russia, speaking of ships, has just moved its ship off the coast of Syria and is expected to start pounding Aleppo tomorrow, eastern Aleppo. Do you think we're going to be talking about that?
Do we know what his plan? He's talking about a plan.
I'm sorry. Because the Chinese have got military stuff going on as well, Lester. They're moving out of China across the South China Seas and into the Middle East. I mean, they've got a whole pathway going there at that point.
If we make ourselves irrelevant, others will step into the gap.
Oh, shit. Donald Trump just won Pennsylvania. Donald Trump just won Pennsylvania.
What happens in that cauldron of the world right now?
Well, can I tell you, I wasn't surprised by this outcome. I actually thought this was going to happen because it fits a trend. And you're seeing this trend in Turkey, in the Philippines, in Egypt, with Brexit.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Even in Iceland, where you're having right-wing or fringe candidates emerging to the forefront.
I told
it's
you
been
guys.
a pattern. And where you have these populist leaders who are effectively appealing directly to the people, of going through social media, going through the television. And okay, if this happens in the Philippines, it's bad for that country. If it happens to the United States, it's terrible for everybody. So that's what they're seeing. They're seeing it as this part of this larger pattern of fringe candidates and right wing.
This is upbeat. Yeah, I don't mean to be like. I'm sitting painting a frightening picture, Richard, and I
wish I wasn't.
I was driving back to what Savannah said, which is the way to the office. Will he understand the responsibility he has as?
I'm not a psychiatrist, but I don't.
As Europe's safety net. I mean, Europe right now has got to be freaking out.
Well, clearly, he has spoken in very negative terms about our obligations to NATO. And one thing in
Stop
seeing
talking. Go to the
Republicans
breaking news
reelected to the Senate, like John McCain, who are strong voices around the world on I mean, some of his closest friends are the leaders of countries that rely on a clear voice from the United States of America. I mean, he will have a check in some of those senators and in some
Isn't
of the...
that ironic? Yeah. Because there was so much talk about, Hillary Clinton will win. Right. We need the Senate to be a check. It may be fall to a John McCain,
on foreign policy,
Graham, and a lot.
On foreign policy, Hillary Clinton was much more in line with a foreign policy view of the Republican establishment. She understood and valued our commitments around the world. She understood and valued the importance of...
what Republican establishment?
Well,
it just got upended.
Well, the Republicans still control the Senate.
Well, I hear you, except Donald Trump, the country has spoken. And the Republican primary voters spoken. They rejected the Republican establishment, and now they rejected the Washington establishment as a whole, the American political establishment, pulling us in the media. So I hear you, but what kind of check? Again, I go back to Donald Trump won this own
completely
to the point where one newspaper in this country endorsed him.
The National Enquirer.
One. Well, all right. I was counting Los Angeles Review Journal, Sheldon Adelson paper.
Well, I think you're going to hear more voices coming out and saying he didn't win it on its own. And I think that there's going to be more voices emerging.
You're saying Russia?
I'm saying there's going to be a lot of attention focused on Russia, on Assange, and we're going to be tying ourselves in knots. We're going to be fighting over the Constitution. We're going to be fighting over the Supreme Court. Was Russia involved? And then proving that it was involved through hacking is a very complicated task. So I just see us not sitting back and saying, okay, well, the American people have spoken. We're just going to hope for the best, and maybe that once he walks into
that's a good point.
Into the Oval
Watching
Office,
the media pointing fingers at everyone but themselves.
Yeah, of course he could.
But the fact is, Richard, the first half of your statement is the correct one. He has power because the American people gave it to him. And he didn't go to them with one set of values and then change to another. He stayed true to who he was, however much anyone may disagree with any of that. They bought into that. That's what they wanted. They thought that that's what Washington needed to see. They also thought it's what the world needed to see.
Well, they keep seeing that when the market crashes and when other things happen. There was the Brexit regret that happened.
Oh, I
afterwards.
understand that. I get that. But I'm telling you, that's the reality of where we are. That's the system that we have. People get to make a choice about who their leaders are. Then the leaders have to decide what kind of leaders they want to be. And it doesn't come from outside. It really comes from inside who they are and the kind of value that are imparted to those leaders by the people who put them in that office. Look, I've got grave reservations. You and I have talked about this a lot, about what kind of an international leader he'll be, about how much he understands how complex all of this is. because he's a guy who, went through the primaries shooting from the hip, worked for him very well politically. We've seen other people go into that office and be overwhelmed by it, quite honestly, because from the moment you step
Donald Trump just won Alaska.
The door, through the windows, 24/7.
I just said Australia.
And you've got to have great staffs, and you have to have a very sophisticated system for dealing with all that. Is he up to that? Does he care about it? I don't know. But in the meantime, he does have the power of the people behind him.
Let's get the read over at the Clinton gathering right now. Andrea Mitchell is standing by. Andrea, are you hearing anything from the inner circle, the Clinton folks, as to what they're reading about this evening is going to play out, whether we will even have an answer tonight?
They have really gone silent. Now, there's a lot of anticipation here that there has to be some kind of announcement. For one thing, this building is not supposed to be open all night. There are a lot of people here. They've been waiting. Many have left, but many, many more are here. This is a very large facility, larger than you can even see from our camera angles. That said, there's a number of calculations involved. Hillary Clinton won her Senate race in 2000, the night that Al Gore arguably conceded too soon, leading to all of the backtracking and the recount.
Right.
I was with her that night. There was a lot of drama and a lot of second guessing about whether Al Gore should not have said what he said initially, and then of course he took it back. And he was incredibly gracious, of course, when it was all over. But that sort of began the process. So I think what's likely going on is, first of all, them trying to determine whether any of these states are within the automatic recount margin of error that would trigger an automatic recount. If not, and if it's a done deal, then they have to make a concession speech. And then what kind of concession speech? She has said the most categorically terrible things about Donald Trump. And the fact that she has said that he's unqualified, that he is a misogynist, that he is racist, all of these things she said about him, how does she now say, the people of Skin, I will cooperate, I will do what is helpful and what is best for the country, when she thinks that he should not be President of the United States? That said, just last night, she told 33,000 people in Philadelphia that Donald Trump was attacking democracy by saying that he wouldn't concede. So, if she's true to her own principles, she has to make a concession.
Yeah, that's a little hard to put on background, and there's a phone call that would precede that speech as well.
By the way, we live in a vacuum on election nights.
Why didn't they say anything about Pennsylvania? I don't get this.
That have already moved some states that we haven't called yet. Pennsylvania.
You fuckers,
Trump.
come on, let's go.
Again, we haven't done it simply because there is so much raw vote that you're just extraneous and you're always nervous this close, and you want to be careful, especially when you're calling the presidency. There's no doubt about it. But she needs a miracle. I think at this point to get to.
I think they may have pulled back Pennsylvania. I think the AP may have pulled Pennsylvania back.
That's because that one got a lot on the right fired up.
But I think they may have pulled.
Well, that would be the end of the.
I think Andrea's got something else she wants to add. Andrea.
Yeah, we understand that campaign chairman John Podesta has left the hotel, and he did say to a reporter outside, "We are going over to the Javits." So I think you can expect that at the very least, John Podesta is coming over here, but I think it may be the Clintons as well. Now, if there's some issue of Pennsylvania and the outcome of Pennsylvania and what the Associated Press reported, which we of course have not, that might change that. But as of moments ago, John Podesta was headed over this way. They have to say something publicly, and they're in a game of chicken, if you will. That Donald Trump was eager to come out and say something, but clearly no one wants to be the one to go first here. So I expect that we're going to hear some from the Clintons.
Yeah,
you can only imagine how devastating this is.
Washington Post does have Pennsylvania.
Look, his lead's up to 80,000. Again, I've heard from a Clinton person. As you can see, there's 77,000. They're talking about it. they claim there's some irregularities and things like that, and so I assume that's what they're going to
Who
do.
thought that it would be the Clinton campaign at 1:47 a.m. talking about irregularities?
Right.
I mean, it was
And
never.
Who doesn't love irony? I mean, it's all over this election, but one of the biggest controversies and moments is in this campaign is when Trump said
he might.
I don't know, I might not concede, and now it's almost 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and there's some hand wringing about how and when Hillary Clinton might concede. So now she's on the business end of all of the arguments she made.
It's such a stunning turn of events, and his overt message was to run against a rigged system, a rigged media, a rigged political class, Democrat and Republicans, and to run against sort of the Clinton machine. And it's now the Clinton campaign you're hearing from about irregularities
what the
in
first
a state
day
where
of
he has an
prison feels
80,000
like.
vote lead is just something 4 hours ago I would have found stunning.
It's 8,000 votes. This is not.
But isn't
Again,
that
I
a
go back
reason
to this? Not 5,000 votes.
Isn't that a reason for concern if he managed to pull off this miraculous defeat, this almost unprecedented, unpredicted event, and he comes out and gives this speech? We did it, even though the media was against us, even though nobody said we could do it. Thanks to you. I would think he's going to feel incredibly emboldened to try and go as far as he can.
Do you think the result? What are you
He now has
suggesting?
the Senate majority back as well. I mean, that's the other thing.
Look,
Right,
this is a
Republican House, Republican Senate, and
And the
a
White House.
Trumpian White House. I don't know.
I mean, I guess this is our modern day Dewey defeats Truman. It was practically that.
We don't like to talk to about ourselves in this context. But let's face it, we were as much on the ballot. We, the media, as anything
finally.
else. There was a great joy, I think, in among some to stick a thumb in our eyes because of the perception.
Definitely.
I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it.
And it was but to your point, it was an applause line at every single event. Our own correspondents were bullied and heckled by the Republican nominee.
I can tell you time after time. We've spoken about this. There were stories that you wanted to lead with something else, but then he would do something that was just. No candidate had gone before. Provocative.
First of all, that was the one unifying theme of this campaign. Everyone hates the media, whether you're a Hillary supporter or a Trump supporter. So, kumbaya, everybody.
Work it up to the morning. I'm feeling great about the media.
I got Bernie Bros going. See, this is why you guys should have given Bernie more airtime.
Yeah,
how much did that propel him? Did he become a hero of
It was
media
part of his soup.
We,
I mean, he made sort of some people might find it a toxic brew, depending on your perspective. His supporters, and I know a lot of them, found it to be sort of a magic recipe where you got his base riled up about enough things. You know, we talked about foreign policy a minute ago. He won the South Carolina Republican primary after blaming 9/11 on George W. Bush. I mean, the ideas are so outside the mainstream, not of Republican foreign policy, but of American foreign policy.
I think we do bear some of the responsibility, frankly.
The appeal of Trump is that he is that protest vote. Yeah. That's it. I mean, look, this business about the Access Hollywood tape, this is not media interpreting. It's on the tape. You can hear it. The fact that he didn't turn in his taxes, it's right there. The fact that he's a businessman and claimed an almost $1 billion loss in 1 year. He never denied it. But I think what the people are saying is, we don't care. We hear what you say about him. We don't want to hear it.
Made him stronger.
We don't care.
Boy, it looks like
it's not
I'm
that it isn't true, it's that they don't care.
I mean, yes, it's true. A lot.
Anybody need a seat? No. Anybody need to crash on my couch? Question mark. And that's actually kind of true. Because I was thinking about coming back home in like 2 years or so. But we'll see. Let's see how it goes into, but god damn. Now taking refugees from America, period. Wow, now I'm actually starting to feel pretty bad. This is fucked. This is fuck. It's only like $400.
Of the coverage, particularly over the last several months, against.
I think that any of the toxic kind of racially tinged comments were literal. They thought he was just putting it all out there as a provocateur. We all had, our hair on fire.
Later,
we still
Queen.
do. But I think that he sort of mainlined his message to the voters. He totally bypassed the media, and they delivered tonight's result. What we think will be tonight's
Savannah,
result.
you got a Senate call?
I do. I have a couple of them. Okay, so we're going to start in Pennsylvania. I believe Senator Pat Kennedy returns. So this is a hold for
I just want to see the
Republicans.
speech and
Deal
I'm
because
done.
we're watching Pennsylvania so closely. So read that tea leaf if you like. Katie McGinty went down to defeat. And in Missouri, let's take a look. Another hold. Roy Blunt did not beat an upstart Democrat that a lot of folks were hoping would make a move in a deep red state. Jason Kander, who arguably had the best television ad, a veteran. I think we all remember the ad in Missouri where he was blindfolded and assembled an automatic rifle to say, hey, I've got the same bona fides that you care about in this state, but he goes down to defeat. So here we go. We called early on an Illinois pickup for Democrats, and that was many hours ago. And yes, it looks like senators are going to hang on. We still have this close race in New Hampshire. Chuck, you're the one who does the math so well. Oh, vote margin, it's there for us.
Put it up there for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Please don't make me do math at
Well,
this hour.
that's fine. We're not making you do it.
Let's put it up on the New Hampshire Senate. Maggie Hassan, the governor, Kelly Ayotte, one of the most hotly contested races, one of the most expensive ones, 1,000-vote
There
margin.
we go. And in their desperation, they turned to a man they didn't fully understand.
Hillary Clinton has about
Yeah, get ready for that shit.
right now.
But everybody at this table who thought at this part of the evening,
I'm going to download. I'm just going to go on Grand Theft Auto.
for the Republicans.
Get ready for what the real world's going to be like in a bit. Shooting motherfuckers, robbing people.
Not even Wall Street Journal thought it was going to be a slam dunk for the Republicans.
Can I raise another issue, and that would be the U.S. Supreme Court?
Yeah.
There's already one opening, and who knows how many potentially more over the next 4 years. And this is
What is this?
the thought is this would drove a lot of Republican voters drove them home because that's the big.
Especially evangelicals.
It'll be curious to see what the Democrats do as a minority party and decide, do they play the filibuster? Do they make the Republicans have to do the nuclear option?
What?
The question
We're
is,
talking
do they go
nukes
tit for
already?
tat, right? On one
Donald
hand, they
Trump's at
criticize the Republicans for playing this game
264 right now.
Now that the shoes are on the other foot, what do the Democrats semi-cooperate? Or do they say,
this shit
no,
is done.
you held up our guy, we're going
This
to hold
shit
up
is
yours.
like
We're going to make you change the rules
good
of the
to go,
Senate and
almost-
make it a 50-person vote. Although, I actually think secretly conservatives would love that because
It'll
that
be
would allow them to
last
get even
minute.
more conservative
I
justices
mean,
in on a 50+1.
if she gets
But
Arizona,
the Supreme Court's such an interesting question. I mean, the campaign drove the message. I don't think anyone here who's watched Donald Trump's sort of archival interviews believes that he's an ideological person. He was so pro-choice, he wasn't against partial birth abortion, I think, 3 years ago. So, I mean, the idea that the Supreme Court may have put him over the edge is so ironic, again, because he's not an ideological person. He's become pro-life, and obviously evangelical voters
New York
accept that.
Times is
But
showing
the
like
notion that it was the
it's
Supreme
sliding
Court
more
and the
toward
culturally divisive issues
Trump,
that
though.
really helped him is just
Doesn't he have an ideology?
Power?
maybe, but that doesn't, the idea that he might adhere to
Pennsylvania is
something
loose
loose
on
or, I
to,
just don't know what it is
That's
about
not a
anything
Trump
he's
right
done.
now.
ideology.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Well, but the Supreme Court picks what each side is usually looking for is ideological purity. And so that was such a salient issue. It's fascinating to me. This is a guy that, even in the general election, was talking about how important Planned Parenthood was.
Somebody said goodbye,
and
Mexicans.
a lot of people were heartened to hear that he's not a particularly ideological guy. It just makes the Supreme Court an interesting issue for him to have gained such an advantage
He had
over.
produced a list of people at one point.
He did, and that gave a lot of Republicans comfort because there were some very conservative judges who were on that list.
But no one thought he knew who any of the names were.
No, but that was fine, I think, right? I mean, I think
Well,
like,
Mitch
as long as
McConnell-
you're putting the right names on
Right.
there, we're good.
And Mitch McConnell said that one piece of paper was enough for him, and he then, I think within days of that list coming out, endorsed him.
It wasn't just any Supreme Court justice seat. It's Justice Scalia's
Somebody
seat.
said goodbye,
And
Mexicans.
it would have altered the balance. I mean, we've seen epic supreme fights, but in the last few years, they haven't been ones that would have altered that ideological balance. This one had the potential to.
And then it was to his advantage. It's just another interesting
Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you for the hugs. We all need a hug right now.
Standing by. Katie, we note, of course, you were there when he announced, what was that, 511 or maybe now 12 days ago. How off guard, how surprised are they right now that they're doing as well as they're doing?
Well, I can tell you, I had a very early conversation with a top campaign aide, maybe in early July of 2015, and they told me that they see their chances as 1 in 10 back then. 1 in 10 chance of getting the Republican nomination, let alone getting to the point that they're at right now. Those chances grew as time went on. Certainly from what I could see, the first rally, the really big rally that I went to was in Phoenix, Arizona, where 5,000 people showed up. Donald Trump said 7,000, 10,000, 20,000, which wasn't true, but it was still quite a large crowd. And then when he criticized John McCain, called him not a war hero, criticized an American veteran who had been revered by so many, and then didn't drop in the polls, that's a lot of Republicans started to wonder what was going on. And it's also when the Trump campaign was starting to feel like, wait a minute, we might actually be tapping into something here. We might really have a chance. That's when the protest campaign, which is really how this started to become something more real, something that would move forward. And Donald Trump kept getting the large rallies in state after state. By November, he had Secret Service protection right after Thanksgiving, and that was a real indication that he was a serious contender who was being taken very seriously, at least on one end of the political spectrum. Republicans were still wanting to count him out. They believed that ultimately the silly season end, that Republican voters would come around and choose somebody more serious. They talked about Ted Cruz's ground game. They talked about Marco Rubio's perceived on foreign policy, Jeb's legacy and his vaulted infrastructure that he had around him, and the funding that he had, Jeb Bush, that is. But none of those happened, and Donald Trump
I can't watch this anymore. It's making me sad. Going to take a jerk. Peace out.
All right, we've got Katie, thank you. We have another projection to make as we go to the side of Rock Center. And NBC News projects, when all the votes are counted, that Hillary Clinton will win the state of Maine, and she will be of the 4 electoral votes there. They allocate them differently in Maine, but there's the raw vote count: 309,289, 48 to 45. So Hillary Clinton picking up another state that brings her total on the electoral map there to 218 to the 245 for Donald Trump. Neither still in reach of the 270 needed to secure the presidency. All right, Steve Schmidt, you just popped in next to me. I didn't even see you again. Good to see you. A campaign veteran. How will Democrats, assuming Hillary Clinton loses here, where will the finger pointing be?
Well, I don't really know where
Hillary
to begin.
Clinton.
I mean, first off,
nobody liked
you will have the Democrat Party out of power with all three houses, the Senate, the Congress. Very weak bench. A massive repudiation personally of Secretary Clinton by the electorate. It will have been a close election, but Republicans will 100% of the political power here. And right away, they're going to have the votes to repeal and replace Obamacare, to dismantle Dodd-Frank.
They really are going to try to
fast action.
Hey,
You'll
what
see
the fuck?
Donald Trump on day one dismantle the architecture of the executive orders.
Let me cut you off a second. We need to go back to the Clinton headquarters. We understand John Podesta has just walked in the room. Andrea Mitchell, is he going to speak?
Yes, he is going to speak. We understand that this is not going to be a final statement. The friends, the donors, the supporters have all reassembled.
Hey, yo, my
The other
girl
people
has been
here,
playing
the large crowd has been
Grand
here.
Theft Auto
The music came
online
back up.
because
And here's the announcement for John.
she's in a new
It will
apartment
not
and
be the
everything.
curtains.
What the fuck? When did she get this apartment? What's she be doing? Let some nigga run out. Alright, let's see what the speech is all about.
Thank you. Well, folks, I know you've been here
a long time, and it's been a long night, and it's been a long campaign. But I could say we can wait a little longer, can't we? Counting votes should count. Several states are too close to call, so we're not going to have anything more to say tonight. So listen to me. Everybody should head home. We should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow. I want you to know, I want every person in this hall to know, and I want every person across the country who supported Hillary to know that your voices and your enthusiasm means so much to her and to Tim and to all of us.
I don't even like the bitch, but she better win.
We are so proud of you.
I don't know. I don't even know.
We are so proud of her. She's done an amazing job, and she is not done yet. So thank you for being with her. She has always been with you. I have to say this tonight. Good night. We will be back. We'll have more to say. Let's get those votes counted, and let's bring this home. Thank you so much for all of you have done. You are in all of our hearts. Thank you.
Campaign Chairman John Podesta addressing the crowd gathered at the Jacob Javits Center on behalf of Hillary Clinton, saying every vote should count. We can wait a little longer, and essentially telling the crowd to go home. It's not going to happen tonight. There will be no speeches tonight. Andrea Mitchell, did you see that coming?
Well, what I was suggesting to you just a bit ago is that Hillary Clinton saw what happened with Al Gore, and until every vote is counted, especially given her verbal indictment going all the way back, but certainly in that San Diego foreign policy speech last summer, the fact is she has said he is not qualified to be commander-in-chief, that he is not qualified to hand the nuclear codes, that he is not
if they take away his Twitter account.
It would be very difficult for her to concede until every vote is counted. That said, this contradicts things she had said as recently as last night about being gracious and listening to the voters. But they're basically saying that there are some states that are still...
It's not over yet, so that's stupid. The media's trying to push it to a close. This shit is far from over. Only...
And they're going to fight on, at least legally, as long as they can, as long as they think they have any argument.
Let me
extraordinary role reversal.
Well, let me ask around the
play
table
that
here.
shit.
Donald Trump is a guy that doesn't play by the rules.
I would have done the same thing.
What's the betting that he comes out?
I think he comes out.
By the way, if I were him, I would.
Right.
He's leading in Pennsylvania, leading in Michigan, and leading in Wisconsin. He only has to win 2 of the 3, and he gets his number 1. He can win both Wisconsin and Michigan. Dante Cheney, our data guy, he's.
They cut off my internet.
Wayne County didn't turn out.
So does he come out? Does he just come out and declare victory, or something near victory?
I hope not. Look, there's a choreography to this in our system, and I was critical of Donald Trump earlier.
He is 4 points away, though.
Now the
and
burden
that's
will
it.
likely fall on Secretary Clinton here to commence the process where we transfer power peacefully in this country, and that begins with a concession phone call. And the first person who will address Donald Trump in the next hours is Mr. President-elect, who matters, is Secretary Clinton. And I think the choreography, the ritual of that phone call, there have been concessions that have extended into the next day.
Somebody say he has to take a piss.
Afternoon, and this will probably be one of them.
What we don't know is if any phone call transpired.
Well, clearly not yet.
Yeah. And most people seem to be heading for the exits, but there are long, sad phases here because even though John Podesta is correct that it's not over, every vote should count, clearly the folks in that room have been...
Oh, shit, I don't have shoes in Grand Theft Auto. Hey, find online? Maybe. No, wait, I want to try this race out.
If we were talking about one state, where they needed to find a counting error or missing this or a precinct here. But she needs it in 3 states.
But just imagine if the tables were turned and it was Trump refusing to concede at this moment under these circumstances.
But by the way, you wouldn't actually. I mean, look.
This is fucking crazy.
It is the presidency. It has happened again.
I need
she
to
is
get some
trying to do
shoes.
something we've never seen, which is find that missing, that whatever it is that in 3 states where she's down essentially anywhere from a half a percentage point to a percentage point.
And of course, at the end of the night, she could still win the popular vote, which gets us back to that whole debate that comes up every 4 years or so on why do we do this electoral college thing?
Yeah, these are the rules.
Basically.
These are the rules you play by.
Exactly.
These are the rules you play by, and everybody agrees with these. Agreed to these rules.
Exactly, but it comes up.
Time to get drunk, guys. It's time to get drunk.
Presidential election.
Yeah. That ratification would go well. Let's go to Katie Tur at the Trump headquarters. Katie, are they aware of what John Podesta just said? Has that word?
Well, the crowd is aware of what John Podesta just said because they watched it on the monitors here. I have reached out to the campaign to find out if they plan on coming out now that they've seen Podesta basically tell his crowd to go home and they're not going to make a decision tonight for the Clinton campaign, and I still have not heard back. What I suspect is going on behind the scenes is conversations about whether Donald Trump should come out and decide that he is going to declare himself the winner, or is he going to wait it out until they get officially to 270, at least wait for one news network to officially call him the winner and the president-elect at 270. You can hear this crowd behind me. They are yelling, call it. Obviously, people are getting quite tired. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and many of them have been here for hours. The doors opened here at 3 p.m. Also, these are folks who have been waiting to see Donald Trump win the presidency, so they're feeling like they want this to happen as quickly as it can at this point. The Trump campaign, though, is not giving any indication of when he will come out. We do know that he does want to come out. He has been preparing his remarks, but as of now, the last we heard, he is still waiting for 270.
All right, Katie, thanks very much. Chuck?
Steve, 2004, John Kerry did not concede the night of. Right. They thought there was enough in Ohio. And you guys did not declare victory.
We did not.
Either. You made the decision,
or should I go on, should I do it on
give him
YouTube?
Time. Look, the psychological impact of this is that, I think not only all of us,
maybe I'll do YouTube
certainly everyone
instead.
on the Clinton campaign went into the Peninsula Hotel today believing that she would be the president-elect of the United States sometime before midnight. That hasn't happened. So, giving your opponent some time to used to new reality.
I wonder if I need to turn this off, though.
Thing to do.
Let's see, hold on.
All right, Savannah's got a Senate call here.
Let's make it official. The Republicans hold the Senate. Lisa Murkowski in Alaska holds on. Here she is. This is not a surprise, but puts a fine point on the night. It is a Republican night, and if everything turns out the way I think we anticipate that it will, the Senate stays in Republican hands, the House we know, and it looks like Donald Trump president-elect.
This is already a more powerful more powerful congressional majority than George W. Bush. In fact, it was basically a 50-50 Senate when he came into office in 2000. This is, again, he's got, if he wants to govern with the congressional majority, he's got the ability to do it. We're all just, I think everybody is trying to figure out how does that going to work.
Well, they all are going to have they have an R by there.
Let me quickly make another projection, and it is the state of Alaska. NBC News projects that Donald Trump will win in the state of Alaska. 3 electoral votes. It increases his margin by 3, but does not get into that 270. Here's how it shakes out in Alaska: 54% to 37. Trump.
All right, I should be on YouTube
now. Alaska, and if we come down to the rink and look at that race to
what's up, everybody on YouTube?
Closer,
watching the election results right now. I'm on YouNow. I'm everywhere. Where the fuck are we going, though? What's going on here? Use your line. I get it. Okay. How do I do the line? How do I do the line? I wasn't paying attention. How do I do the line?
Michigan. He leads in Wisconsin. She does lead in
oh shit! This is dope.
Any
I'm on.
Of those 4.
Let me know if you guys can see me on the channel.
Well, Kevin Tibbles is in Michigan.
How do I do the line?
Force or the people around. Kevin?
Well, you know, Lester, this has been such an incredible.
Oh, the line is always there. Okay, I get it.
Evening here in Grand Rapids. Yes, we are.
Oh shit! Yo, this shit is dope.
From talking to the several hundred people who were here earlier, obviously the crowd.
I'm looking at comments, but now I'm playing Grand Theft Auto because I got bored. You can join me on. It's on the YouTube channel actually though.
What has taken place with regard
Oh, that's good that it disappears though.
some people who said when they had their
What's this
first
power
sort
up?
of Trump organizational meeting, you know,
Got
you
him.
could have held
Got
your
him.
own booth
Yeah,
in
nice.
Grand Rapids. And now this evening, last night, Mr. Trump had more than 4,000 people.
How do I use these power-ups?
In the local convention center here
To do a bunny hop, okay, like my girl Bunny Girl, alright.
I can honestly say it. I'm looking across the room that
What's this?
people are very surprised, and I'm getting a nod that that it has gone down this way. But at the end of the day, I think that people here.
Ooh, I obliterated someone! Oh, I obliterated somebody else.
With the, you know, it reminds me of the Cubs last week. To be honest with you, I mean,
How do I use this bunny hop though?
go tonight, Lester.
L3?
In the same week, we saw the end of daylight saving time, so none of us are getting enough sleep right now, at least on this end. Savannah, I was going to say the morning papers are probably being produced even as we speak, but we'll hear a lot of talk about Brexit.
Fuck.
Drawing the comparison.
My username is Best Win High.
Because Brexit
Hey,
was a
restart.
And what
I think, yeah, some of you guys are watching, though.
should happen. This is the voters.
Oh, shit! This is pretty dope, though, but a little confusing.
Earthquake. And then also, many people felt that the polls got it wrong. I think look a little more deeply into
Thank you for the donations on the bars online. I mean, on YouNow. I would I do have a donation page on my Twitch. You can use Twitch alerts. Oh, fuck, this is hard, though. Okay, got it. Got him! Nice. Shit!
Donald Trump has been making that connection.
That's hard.
Actually, from the start, quite a bit, saying we got a Brexit station. He's been using it as something of a shorthand, a way of saying this is a moment where everything.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna kill after this match. Oh, I could just use the small. That's what you should do. That's how it works. Okay.
Well, there was like
This is how I make America great again.
Felt palpably, and you did
Speed
see financial
boost.
markets, and we are
Perfect.
seeing some of that happen. The Dow futures crashing, and you're seeing some of the overseas stock markets that are already open dropping significantly. But then,
oh, yeah, boy.
Life goes on. Yeah, and I think we're going to.
I got this one.
Witness this in our own country.
By the way, I find it fascinating. We talk about this rejection of the establishment. In
Huh.
every state, even the makeup of these states, Steve, if you've noticed, they're slightly different. And
Damn it!
Very rural, urban. I mean,
Shit!
You know, she did.
Woo, this is pretty crazy, guys. Definitely hit me up if you're
But it's the rural vote.
It's cheering me up, that's for sure, because this is fucking ridiculous. This election.
Those that feel as if they were being left behind or condescended to.
Alright, after this match, I'm gonna close out the YouNow because I think it's too close to call.
You know, they voted Clinton.
Woo! That was fun, though. That was real fun, guys.
By the way, we saw some establishment senators get returned to office, Burr and Blunt, to name a couple. So it's not just.
I would love to collab with Armin.
Take a break, and if you've been flipping by, just to be clear, that the parties essentially ended at the. What was the viewing party for the Clinton folks? John Podesta came out and said, go home, this isn't over. We want all the votes to be counted, but we're not going to do anything more tonight. So that's where we stand. We're still waiting on a number of states too close to call. Where we are, right at break.
I'm going to check on the results in a little while, guys. But thank you, everybody, on YouNow. I'll see you on my YouTube channel. On my channel. Thank you, YouNow. I appreciate it.